Yo, it's your boy Gamma, we out here.
Hey, this is Keizo, and you're listening to Call of the Wild.
Phase 1 complete. Assembling family members.
Hey guys, this is Alex.
Hey everyone, this is Nathan. Hello to everyone listening to Call of the Wild.
Family assembled. We have liftoff.
That's a bad kitty.
Welcome to Call of the Wild. An exploration of sound with the latest electronic music. With nothing to hold us back, these are the songs of the wild.
It's my birthday, and I'll do what I want to. This week, I'm kicking out Dan and taking over Call of the Wild. Actually, you know what? I'm kicking out our entire social media team also. I'm in control now. It's birthday hype. Let's get right into this mix.
concept. Every notion has a counterpart. Yet, every idea's opposite is just the absence of the idea itself. Absence is the absence of presence. Presence is the absence of absence. Any perceived difference is in fact also a deep connection. In this way, opposing forces are unified. The world becomes a collaborative web of interdependent pieces.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the EGL League Circuit. Tonight we got Doge again, back-to-back weeks with my return, and I'm joined this week with
Burn Victim.
And we got a pretty exciting matchup. We have Party the Challenger versus SRC Silence Right Clickers. So should be a pretty good matchup. Pretty one-sided here with everyone's pregame predictions with SRC, but PTC maybe in the lab putting in some work and adjusting to the meta. I know the patch just went through yesterday. It wasn't very big because we're getting towards the end of the season here. So it shouldn't be too crazy different from last week here meta-wise, so we won't harp on it too much. We hit on our jungle obsession last week pretty hard.
Oh, yeah.
But that's kind of all the craze, and it still is. Still, the AP junglers with AD mid seem really strong if your jungler can play it. And then we saw Graves absolutely stomp here a couple games just farm until 25 minutes and then show up and say, hey, I'm going to one-shot you. So
carry junglers are putting in a lot of work right now. Just hard farm, run into that enemy jungle, steal some camps, just get out, and then they just build advantages from themselves.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I always look at is when they do take that advantage. They see the enemy jungler trying to force something or make a play, going to that opposite side jungle and either getting deep vision or stealing 2 camps, because that can be a snowball so hard now with the meta of junglers. Like if you have a Hecarim trying to force an early gank like pre-6 and it's like a coin flip if he's going to be successful with it, and then you give Graves like a 12 CS lead, Crab, and 2 opposite camps, you're just kind of chilling, and now you only have 2 camps to farm, and it just feels absolutely awful.
Especially if you don't even catch it, because then you run into that jungle and there's nothing there. It's like, oh no, what do I do?
Yeah, so defensive vision, if you are going for that play, is something that it was like a cross-map play that a lot of teams don't. You know, you got to check all the boxes before you go for it. If you, in a perfect situation, but you can't always do that. So you have to really make sure those ganks count and they're successful. Otherwise, it really hurts on the farm end. We're gonna do the coin flip right away this week, since last week I almost forgot. So PTC is gonna be heads, and SRC will be tails. And gotta make sure this is like a legit coin. Don't worry, no fabricating here. And it's tails. So SRC is gonna get side selection, and we kind of touched on last week how strong blue side is with all the strong picks right now. But we saw last week a lot of the meta champions got through. We saw Samira get through twice, and she is absolutely bonkers if you know how to play her. She is a very high skill ceiling.
Yeah, it was really interesting because when Temper Rush played it, I believe Decoy was super far, or like was behind on it, but like the team still won. But then when Batsy played it, he was putting in a lot of work.
Yeah, he was almost 1v9ing, and his team just fell a little short. He ran into that super fed Graves, and Smokescreen is a pretty good ability, especially when you're trying to dash around. But we saw that fall through. We saw like Evelynn, a lot more target picks versus like meta picks. So maybe some of these players have been picking up the meta champions. I know Deadpool was a big Aphelios player when he was super strong, so maybe he's hopped onto the Samira train, and then Aphelios did get a buff this patch, which is pretty nice. He was kind of in a weird spot where he was like, all his guns just felt awful, and I think it was a lethality buff with his passive and then an alt buff, so not like anything crazy, but maybe that just is the nudge to kind of get him up back into A tier, not touching Ashe and Caitlyn in my opinion up there, but and then, bot lane is always exciting to talk about because you got all the action going on down there. There's always a party. Yeah. We haven't seen much Twitch. He's constantly rising. I think I was looking at win rates today. He's almost at like 52% win rate when like 3 weeks ago Twitch was like you'd never see him. You'd see some troll jungler who can't jungle lock in Twitch jungle, and that's all you would see. And so it's kind of cool how the meta's evolving, even though the patches aren't as drastic. We haven't had a real big patch since the Worlds patch, pretty much.
Yeah. The one thing I noticed for junglers is that Nidalee actually lost 3 attack damage, and so the interesting with the jungle is that when you lose like attack damage or armor, that it hurts junglers really bad. So I don't know how much the junglers will be prioritizing it or were prioritizing it, but it'll be interesting to see if they pick up the Nidalee still or if it falls out.
Yeah, and the thing with Nidalee is she's such a fast power farmer, and she can clear jungle so fast she has a really high skill ceiling where you have to animation cancel and kind of know what you're doing. But that extra 1 or 2 auto attacks that 3 damage adds up to in the long run of skills and auto attacks we wove in there, that 2 auto attacks can really affect your clear, and if that's 8-10 seconds combined through all your clear, that affects your crab timing, your counter jungling timing, and that's all very important for her. Not really sure if she'll be a priority because she is kind of like a really aggressive. I kind of think of her as a battle ward where she goes in the enemy jungler and enemy jungle and just kind of try to fight while stealing camps and getting very aggressive vision, and it's a risky play style. You see sometimes when it looks good, it looks great. You see people 3 buffing, killing the enemy jungle, and just kind of like making it a 4v5. But when it looks bad, Nidalee looks awful.
Yeah.
She is just a secondary support that heals like 80 damage and gives like 10% attack speed. It just feels terrible when she's behind.
Yeah. The only like nice thing about it is like say like if Nidalee's behind, but maybe your AD carry is like super far ahead, you can just build like a Thien second, and then you do a little bit of damage, like throw the heal, and the heal does like 600 health.
Yeah.
It's like holy cow.
And I even like that build when if you're ahead, because it's like, oh, I'm strong, and if you focus me, I'm just gonna be a secondary support and play kind of a backline and not as much of the assassin. The assassin version of Nidalee is very hard to pull off mid to late game. So I definitely like. Versus Elise, where she really just becomes a cocoon bot late game. Nidalee has the flexibility to build that supportive role, so her effectiveness goes throughout the entire game versus just the first 10 minutes. And if you don't get 3 kills, you are a caster minion.
So first thing that I saw with the rosters that was pretty interesting is SRC does not have their starting jungler. Normally it is Zach's Blobs, who is a huge Zach player.
Okay.
But they have Timeless Struggle in right now, and he is still a very good jungler. We played against him, and he has some carry junglers that he looks really nasty on. Can also play the tanks. So in terms of how much experience a team has with Timeless, it's definitely not lacking. But it is interesting. We'll see what they prioritize for the jungle.
Yeah, and we keep harping on the carry junglers, like the power farming, but ganking junglers are still playable, and tanks are definitely still playable. So Zach, not really perfect for the meta, but if you can get through, survive your first couple clears and not get counter jungled and put out of the game, he's still very good. You know, you still bring the CC, and sometimes that's all you need is initiation. I always like to see on team comps, I'm big on simplicity and ease of execution, where if you get a Sejuani, a Zach, someone who just jumps in and disrupts, I really like that. And compared to the Graves, who is going to be bringing all the damage, Kindred, Graves, Nidalee, Lilia, they're a lot more harder to execute. Sure, you can just farm and hope you're coin flip your lanes, but if things start to go poorly, it's how you react to that. And with a ganking jungler, sure, you're going to get counter jungled a little bit, but Sejuani, Zach, Trundle are still useful without gold. They don't need the 200 CS power spike versus Graves, who kind of feels really bad if he falls behind. So it'll be interesting if we see a kind of a clash in jungle styles here, where one's playing a carry and one's kind of playing a low econ, because that could be pretty interesting. We could see a carry jungler get out of hand and see how it matches up and stuff like that. And then what's going on in the top lane? I'm trying to think of what's strong right now. I've transitioned from top lane to bot lane, so that's why my enthusiasm with bot lane is...
Camille still feels incredibly good right now. She did get a little bit of a nerf onto her E losing some attack speed, which hurts like her midish to late game because it's what you max second. But she's still super strong. You have the long range stun, and it does so much damage, and then Hextech Ultimatum locking someone down. It sets up gank super well.
Yeah, and Camille just is so annoying to gank because you go to gank her and she just hook shots away, and it's like, oh, well, we tried. And I really still like the Camille Galio combo. I think Galio's pretty strong in the mid lane. As long as you don't get hard counter picked. I know if Lucian gets picked into Galio, it's like the end of the world. It just feels terrible. But if you can get that combo into the right team comp, it's very good initiation. And like you said, Camille, 2 items is disgusting. She can 1v1 anyone. She has really high outplay potential. But the counters to her are very strong when picked into her. Like Jax, if you pick Jax into Camille, it's pretty hard to mess it up, I will say.
Yeah, or even Malphite, especially because Malphite makes Camille really sad, but also just has great team fighting. So Camille can try to split push if she wants to avoid the Malphite, but Malphite will just get so much more done in the team fight.
And he just gets rock solid, bunch of armor.
Yeah.
And if they don't have a big... and if Galio's their one AP threat, it's like, I don't care about him. I'm just going to go kill everyone. I think Malphite is low-key, super strong. And we see it in the circuit sometimes when people lock in Malphite and just become unkillable, and they're just frontlining, and it's like, okay, you picked one AP champion. I'm just going to build 700 armor and
make all your 3 other AD carries, AD champions useless. Yeah,
just tank towers for 10 years, and another top lane champion I really hate is Volibear. I think he's super strong.
Well, and especially since he's flexible.
Yeah, he's flexible in the jungle. He's top. Support if you get really crazy, but or desperate for a flex. But his laning phase is just so strong, and he can be like kind of that pseudo counter to Camille too. It doesn't always go well because if Camille gets ahead, he just gets rolled. But if he stays even or ahead, he feels really good. Initiation, turning off towers, especially in an organized environment where you're 5-man calming, is pretty good when you can just tower dive and have no repercussions, especially with a carry jungle. Like Evelyn rolls up, you just turn off the tower, she kills you, and you're like, oh, that was really fun and interactive.
Yeah,
So.
especially since you have like the ulti will turn off a tower and then it's a gap close. So then your point and click stun always hits, and then if it's like an Evan or Nidalee, like you just hit so much damage for free.
Yeah, and he's good champion to build your team around because, like you said, he can be flex a jungle top, and he is that initiation tank, just like Malphite. He just gets big. I find the builds for him very interesting, where we see some people going for like the Triforce, some Frozen Fist, Black Cleaver, and it's kind of all over the place. You can kind of buy whatever you want, but it's very important to itemize specifically for your matchup.
Yeah.
Whereas some champions you can kind of build the same thing every game and be pretty fine. He's one of those champions where you really kind of have to think about the entire map, not just your lane opponent, for what you're building. Because if you build a Triforce and they have like a Syndra or something that just presses R and you just die, it's like, well, I really wish I would have got some health and a little bit of MR. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And he's blind pickable. That's a big thing for the blue side. Top lane counter picks seem to just be getting stronger and stronger as the season goes on, where some matchups just feel absolutely unplayable. And if you get Jax into Camille, you win the side, you win the lane, you're more strong in team fights because Camille's going to be a little bit slowed down, and it's just completely super strong. So that's the benefit of red side, where blue side gets power picks. But if we see bans like last week, we might see red side get 2 power picks, and that's no fun.
And that's what SRC has to be thinking is like, okay, all of these power picks are up. If there's enough of them where if they're on red side, they can get a lot of them. And so
trade 1 for 2 and then go from there and then play comfort. Or if your comfort is a priority pick, make sure you just grab that first rotation. I don't think the mid lane is too exciting. It's kind of been the same for a long time.
Yeah.
We got Lucian, Syndra, Orianna, Galio, and then
Mega Man's been like the Twisted Fate, helping out the side lanes and stuff, especially Deadpool Gambit. He's always putting out a lot of damage output.
Yeah, he's a large percentage of their damage, so with the TF you can kind of cover and patch up some of those holes that PTC has had in past games where we see some of their side lanes get a little behind, and with the Twisted Fate you're able to just kind of erase that problem by making a 2v2, 3v2, and then you kill them, and they can't really do much. So Orianna, I seem to see it all the time in solo queue ever since Worlds, because people are like, oh yeah, this champion is just a stat check champion, and if they don't have Lucian or Syndra, I can just kind of have my way and just be a massive team fighter, shield, movement speed, slows, and it's just really good. So,
but that's the thing though, it's like if they don't have Lucian is so strong right now where you pretty much just be like pretty much every laner besides like maybe Syndra, because you can just like scatter the weak them away. But
I think Lucian is S+ tier in mid lane, and not even close.
Yeah, especially if you pick it with like a carry jungler, it's like, I just shoved my wave in for free. We'll kill the jungler.
Yeah, or just dive mid and he can dash. Or I always think of him with Evelyn. Evelyn just ults out and it's just on no counterplay.
Yeah.
So we see that Misfortune ban. No surprise here. Kabos is a pretty well-known Misfortune one trick in the circuit. A lot of games and very good success on the champion. So I'd like to see his secondary or where he falls to from there. And then Lulu hitting the bans.
This has been coming up in priority in Worlds and kind of seeing it in solo queue, where it's just really ridiculous how like Polymorph's always been broken ability.
Yeah.
But especially since Deadpool Gambit, who likes the Aphelios, he's the main carry, and Lulu just buffs him up. So
Yeah, and we even see Lulu in like the top lane where they go down 50 CS at like 15, 20 minutes, but it doesn't matter. They just either team up with the jungler or they just say, screw top lane, I'm just going to go team fight, and we're just going to roll as a death ball and just kill you, and we'll have double supports, peeling and providing that CC. Her ultimate is very good for initiation. It's just all around very strong champion, and she hasn't really even been buffed or anything. She just kind of started to get traction and into like a lot of the carry jungle or top laner. She has like a pretty free laning phase, and then we see Samira falling through, and she's gonna be first pick. So Deadpool obviously liking these new 80 carries, was a big Aphelios player, and Samira right alongside of it. So and
SRC even banned like the Malphite, which is super strong into the Samira. So like it definitely gives Deadpool a little bit more comfort.
Yeah, and this is a tough matchup into Samira. Caitlyn really bullies her. Samira has a really low auto range. Her Q kind of compensates for that with being like a 1 second cooldown. And
it's pretty much
just
a GPQ also.
Yeah, so the thing with Samira is you want to pair it up with something with CC in the laning phase, ideally, because you can get that passive proc. That's kind of a lot of her damage early game. Until 6, she feels kind of useless unless you have like a Pantheon or a real hard engage support. And then the Alistar is going to be really good at getting her out of the fight. Once she dashes in, look for that big 5-man ulti. Alistar just says, nope, headbutt, get out of here.
It's a little interesting, though, that they paired it with the Caitlyn, because normally you'd pick Caitlyn with something that can set up the traps really well, and Alistar isn't known for that. Like you said, like Alistar is super good because you need things into Samira that can't be blocked by her like wind wall ability, which the headbutt does. But
and the other thing is red side first, second pick. We see Caitlyn, which is a pretty priority pick, but they already had their 80 carry, and then Alistar, which is not sure if Big Lots has been playing it a lot or something. Maybe it was a pick away, but it's could have definitely waited. But maybe they just knew what they wanted to pick into Samira. They had it planned, and then they're saving mid and top for R4, R5. And then we see Kha'Zix coming in. Carry jungler, but not the kind of carry that we've been really seeing a lot in the meta. He does power farm, don't get me wrong, but he's not like the Graves who will go away from getting kills to just full clear. He's really looking to snowball, get some kills, and then just run away with the game and just one-shot the Samira whenever she looks to do anything. And then we also see the Shen Hecarim, which is a huge combo. Very strong. Hecarim is very good.
Not only do you have an awesome delivery system for the Shen, but you can't stop the Hecarim ulti, and it does a really nasty fear. So
fear into taunt, you can kind of erase anyone that gets hit by it. The only scary thing is Alistar, if timed properly before he does start channeling the ult, can kind of deny. If he sees Shen coming in on the Hecarim and Hecarim really looking for a priority target, if he headbutts or knocks him out of the fight, he kind of denies 2 people from getting in. So that's a good pick into it, but it was picked into the Alistar. So the Orianna comes through for CLG. Like we said, Alistar is a pretty good ball delivery system. So
yeah, and it definitely just felt like this was a takeaway, because they could have picked anything top lane since you know the matchups into the Shen, and you could have counterpicked it, but they also were like, okay, we don't want PTC to have Orianna.
Yeah, because Orianna looks really good with the Shen Hecarim combo. It's kind of a bread and butter where you just ult in, Orianna ult, Shen gets delivered in, and Azir, not as efficient with the combo, but he's that backline sustained damage. So look for Samir to be, instead of the 80 carry doing a lot of the sustained damage, Azir's kind of going to take that role and do it for her, while she's kind of like the Flash. He has to get in there and do a lot of burst damage, 80 carry. Azir's kind of the 80 carry of mid lane, so that's pretty cool. And then Braum, pretty interesting pick here. I do really like Braum, especially when like Ornn's still up. So if they wanted to just pick Ornn here because he is not banned and he is definitely broken, Braum just denies it. So that kind of blocked the Ornn pick if they were worried about that. But their lane priority in bot lane is going to be non-existent.
Yeah.
They are going to get pushed in, and if Kha'Zix is able to path properly, probably path towards the bot lane and set up some dives. If they can really snowball this Caitlyn, Samira might not ever get the opportunity to pop off.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised that they went with the set only because, well, like Azir loves to do, especially with the Samira, and Samira's your big carry. Like you're just like pushing people away from them, which is what like the Kazakhs want to do. I was thinking that like Ornn would be really good because Ornn can really mess up. Well, no, Ornn, because Samira can just win well the Ornn.
Yeah, and
But-
Braum.
But Azir just having a lot more safety for the Samira. It's not Orianna where it's like a shield and then a speed boost, which is a lot easier for Samira, but still having some more self-peel for the Samira. That's definitely the win condition.
And if you look at interrupts for the Samira ult, you have Alistar and Set E, and other than that, and Shockwave, obviously. But other than that, they don't really have a lot of CC that can interrupt her ultimate. So if she's able to get in at the right time when cooldowns are down, and she's not just going to get instantly one-tapped, she could definitely wreck some of these team fights. And as we saw last Thursday when Samira came through a couple times, she's pretty feast or famine, where she's either like 10 kills, one-shotting everyone, dashing all over the place, or
like
she's
1
just
in
lane
5,
kingdomed.
yeah.
And they pretty much picked a lane kingdom. Caitlyn, Alistar is kind of interesting early, but he's definitely a strong support.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets the job done, and if they are planning on diving the Samira, he's kind of the S+ diving support besides Pantheon.
Yeah.
Pantheon's disgusting, but he did get nerfed
Yeah.
this patch, thank goodness.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the SRC bottom lane, instead of picking the support that wants to really shove the wave with Caitlyn, it's going to be like Caitlyn's going to get like not as much of the shove off, but still some of it, and then Alistar's going to build mobility boots, try to roam around the map with the Kazakhs and try to get some kills, because if SRC can actually get like a sizable lead before 6, or maybe in between like Shen ultimates, that would be what's really huge, because PTC's early game is not that strong.
Yeah, if you look, Shen pre-6, he's a very strong laner, but he should never kill anyone. I say that with a grain of salt, as being solo killed by Shen many a time.
Yeah.
He does a lot of damage. Hecarim really doesn't turn on until 6. Azir is that late game kind of insurance, and then Samira is questionable until 6. But on the inverse, Set very strong. Kazakhs, if you're isolated, he does a lot of damage no matter what time of the game it is. So they have a very flexible team where their power spikes are early and throughout the game, because Orianna obviously scales very well. So I really want to see, if I'm SRC, I'm having Kazakh start red side, and I am pathing towards the bottom lane. Caitlyn stacks up a fat wave, and I am killing the Samira on cooldown.
Yeah, or at the very least, like I would like to see SRC group up for a 5-man and invade and try to get some vision down early to try to find out where Hecarim's going to be. And then maybe you can have CLG like shove and wave, and then him and Kazakhs go try to kill Jig and Jag.
Yeah, just go and attack the Hecarim, because if Hecarim's allowed to just scale, that's when he does become strong. He is the farming carry jungle, but he does not like to be interfered with early, because he's really looking to use his E to maximize those clears. Usually take Ghost, so he doesn't have the flash, which some situations can be very influential on how the fight goes. He can't just Ghost and run out all the time. So, most of the time he can, but like being able to flash over a wall is very good. Where running away as a pony is not as effective all the time.
Well, and especially like if you pop Ghost, but then you get, say, Alistar comboed into Shockwave, into Facebreaker, it's like, all right, yeah, you run really fast, but
I haven't
chain
moved.
CC'd in one place. Yeah.
So I really want to see Kazakhs attack Hecarim, and if Hecarim can farm and make it to 6 scot-free, he might be able to carry. And the combo, level 6, go to the bot lane and kill them with the 4-man dive, is pretty standard. With the Shen, you always want that. The first stand united is very important. Use it offensively and try to get a kill if you're able to. What's up? Oh, how many pineapples are on that shirt?
I think there's at least
There's more than
7.
5. It's around the whole thing. I can't count that high. But just a 5-point we're seeing here. Looks like Kha'Zix is going to drop the ward, Pixel Brush. That's kind of the standard ward from junglers. Both of them do it. Back for the sweeper. And we see Hecarim pathing towards bot side, so he's probably going to start red. I'm a big fan of no leash start on Hecarim, just because Talisman is so good, and you can kind of hide where you're starting, especially with knowing the enemy team has no vision.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good out of PTC to 5-point and know that like they're not going to see where the Hecarim is, so if they can hide it better, then there's a less likelihood that Kha'Zix is going to
But we see Megan Foxy showing here. Set is obviously in the try, but he's going to be able to see that he definitely did not leash. And bot lane with leashing, they should have a pretty good idea with this start where Hecarim is, and maybe we'll see Kha'Zix look to fight him. With this start, I don't think it's going to happen, but it definitely could be at his blue. But it looks like he's going to Gromp, and Hecarim's just speeding right across the map, right to the blue side, skipping Wraiths. I'm a big fan of doing Wraiths as much as possible, especially on champions like Hecarim.
Yeah, you can just hit all the little birds like right for free. So.
And it heals you because you have Talisman. Just very good. And big trade coming out for Megan Foxy on the Shen. We talked about his early power, and CLG just kind of disrespecting Azir, running right at him and just autoing him down. People forget about Orianna passive.
Oh, what a flash from Deadpool Gambit.
Yeah, that was clean. So the flash pulverize from Alistar comes in, and Samira flashes out of it. And that's a perfectly fine trade, because the only time Samira should be in threat of the Alistar is when his flash is up. Obviously, you can get comboed, but it's not as explosive as like the flash Q, E backwards, and then you're kind of just stuck. So very good mechanics coming out. And we see the Doran shield coming out for Samira as well. Yeah. Very good pickup into the Caitlyn. You're obviously going to take some auto attack damage here. And being able to stay in lane as long as possible. You really want to get to that BF sword to power up your ultimate, since they gutted the base power on it with the hotfix that came out on the patch she was released. And we see Jig and Jag actually getting a good gank off here and burning Set's flash. So very good early play by PTC here, showing some aggressiveness. And we see Hecarim have the faster path, to top lane, because Kha'Zix did Gromp and Wolves. Hecarim did red, blue, Gromp, and went right to top. Burns the flash a Set, but is going to have to give up this crab. But
and they missed the taunt.
Yeah, missed the taunt. Kha'Zix just jumps out and says, later, I'm going to just recall.
Did Jig and Jake get that? The smite? No, he didn't get the smite.
No, Timeless got it.
Okay.
So big for Kha'Zix, as he can just path right down to this bottom crab and get both, and then recall, and then come back to his Gromp respawning. So definitely advantage Kha'Zix on this clear. He's already level 4. Jig and Jag did burn Set's flash, but used Ghost himself. Obviously, Ghost has a nice low cooldown now. I really like that change. Good to see Ghost getting some love. We see double TP in mid lane, which is kind of becoming standard.
Yeah.
It's boring.
Yeah, I was going to say, when Ghost was good on mid laners, that was really nice, but
TP's just too good.
Yeah, TP's way too good. You can nerf it as many times as you want. And
it just is, the concept is just too good. You can't cancel it anymore. They made it longer cooldown, but then they gave you movement speed after, which was an interesting change. I didn't think it needed a buff when it got that, but obviously we take those. Going fast is fun.
Also a nice buy out of Caitlyn, knowing that the Samira bomb isn't going to be very interactive, so she got a call right away.
Yeah, I wonder if she went cut down. So call cut down. Actually, Samira's base health is so low now.
Oh yeah, they nerfed that.
She probably still has less base health than Caitlyn, even with the cull start and the Dorans. It's probably pretty close. So I really like call cut down on Caitlyn. It just feels really nice. You get a lot of free damage, and it scales very well into tanks, which sometimes Caitlyn can struggle with. So
yeah, especially in this camp, you have 3 people building health.
Yeah, and you're probably going to be lower base health than everyone, especially if Azir goes like.
He could go Leandry's Torment this game.
Yeah, so then you'd have 4 targets with less base health than you, and you're just going to be doing bonus damage. Obviously, it's not a lot, but any extra damage you can get from a rune is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And probably just going to see a lot of farming here for a while. We missed the window of Kha'Zix kind of going at Hecarim. He did get the level advantage from pathing smartly, but his kill pressure is not as strong if they don't have complete knowledge of where he is or where he's pathing. And we see no aggressive wards dropped yet by the Kha'Zix. We actually see some good river vision by Mega Man Zero in that pixel brush on the bot side. So maybe setting up for a dragon here for SRC. We see him clearing these wards. Finds the pink. Can we get a little paycheck? A couple 30 golds. But nothing too exciting. The one thing I'm not sure on, does Samira Q proc Braum passive? I don't think so.
I'm not sure if it does on hit effects or not. I haven't played on with that enough, so maybe Twitch chat can look into that. Megan Foxy did get that spread off, which is really nice.
Yeah, and he's kind of running this lane. The early trade I was a little nervous of. Set obviously has such a good passive of regenning health. When you take an early trade like that, sometimes if you don't attack it, it can be bad. But man, he is just going at the Set. He has no fear, even with Set being 6 and Facebreaker ult. Showstopper into the tower was an option there. With no flash on Set, he knows he's kind of safe, and it's a lot harder to execute without the flash.
Yeah.
If flash is up, I don't think he goes for that trade because that is pretty much a death if anything goes wrong on his end.
Yeah, he was forced to base and use the teleport back. But on the opposite side of the map, though, Kha'Zix was invading the red buff and forced Jig and Jag out, so it's just another lead for Timeless Juggle.
Yeah, and he's kind of running away with the CS in the jungle here, and we see him go right to the dragon. CLG rotates down. Is going to give him a little bit of a leash, but Kha'Zix with isolated damage is very proficient at taking these dragons. But Megan Foxy is looking really good in this matchup, and if he's able to handle the Set the entire laning phase, could build that lead and able to ult away and TP back to top and not get punished very much. Ragnarok had a TP back to lane. It sucks that SRC got the dragon with TP disadvantage. That's kind of feels bad for PTC, but they still need to look for an aggressive play here with Shen ult, and we might just see it right here. And yep, Shen's coming in. Hecarim not 6 yet, and Megan Foxy kind of short on the taunt, but Samira gets the kill. Dash. And Alistar getting the trade kill back. So very interesting events there. Actually, 2 kills going over in the favor of...
Like, Hecarim was definitely trying to deliver the Shen, but while doing that, didn't actually get the E-empowered auto attack off for the knockback.
Yeah, and then when Megan Foxy came in from the Shen ultimate, he kind of stood still, wasn't really prepared. He wasn't spamming the E button. So a little bit of a botch dive there. 2 kills going over. Luckily, 1 goes to the Alistar, but further empowering this Kha'Zix is going to be no good because that is what's going to happen. He's going to hunt down the Hecarim, who's still... I don't think he even hit 6.
No,
it depends how many of those chickens he ended up getting. But now this matchup goes from bad to worse because Kha'Zix with mid-prio can just live in Hecarim jungle. I really like what Timeless is doing here. He said, I'm going to run through the tower. You know where I'm at. If you want to come fight me, but threatens the counter jungle here. Hecarim actually goes to answer it, and luckily Megan Foxy with that big prio in top lane, being able to TP back after the play in the bot, saves the day because if Kha'Zix counter jungles all that, Hecarim is probably 3 levels down and dying on cooldown. So Megan Foxy being the MVP, good top laner, playing weak side very well, but
yeah. But the Samira, though, is down 33 CS on the Caitlyn who built the call, so when that cashes in, that is going to feel really, really nice for Boss.
Yep. Deadpool did get first blood, so that's a plus, but this CS is not going well, and we see Kha'Zix just continuing to be a menace to this Hecarim, and Shen having to come down again and help him. He does have the Tiamat, so he's able to push the wave and rotate whenever he wants. And we see Deadpool with the 6 stacks on his ult, or the S rank, but not looking to get too fancy with it. Obviously, Alistar says no thank you. So they really need to look for a window when combo is down to try and get some of this back, or just continue to play as safe as you can. But it looks like Hecarim's pathing down. Finally hit 6. Kha'Zix's doing the rift on the other side. So he is looking to capitalize on this because he is falling way behind in pacing. Kha'Zix's having 4 camps up. Hecarim only having the 2. That's going to be another 16 CS going on to Kha'Zix, and he's already down 20.
Yeah.
So, and this is the power of some of these junglers. Kha'Zix is much more of like the assassin version, but when allowed to power farm and kill the enemy jungle, he can just run away. And with invisibility being as balanced as it is very hard to deal with him, especially in the jungle with all the bushes. If you don't have very good vision control, you can just get out of any situation and play kind of as aggressively as you would like. So we see Braum actually going in, and Alistar having to use the Pulverize. So this might be a window where they could look to have some kind of a scrap with Samira if she's able to get onto the Caitlyn, but it's not as easily done as said. So, we see the Shen ult coming in on the Hecarim.
Shockwave only kicked with 1, but...
Yes, the Shockwave only hit the Azir, and that was not the issue he needed to deal with. He needed to deal with this Hecarim. Although 2 kills down still does a lot of damage, and when you have the freedom with the big shield coming down to just run at people, it's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like what Jag realized with this game is that he's very far behind, and if he were to build like the standard, which would be, hold my thought for a second as Deadpool.
Here goes Deadpool, but he's got S rank. He actually turns it around and gets the kill. TP coming in, and the CC. Megan Fox, he gets the stun. Oh, that was Mega Man. It was Braum's stun actually. So Mega Man actually picks up the kill. Kha'Zix rolls up, gets the last hit on Samira, but the damage is already done. She showed what she can do when that combo is down, and the big shutdown going to Azir. I don't think that could have gone any better for PTC. I thought that was Shen coming in on the TP, but it was Azir. And they turned that very well. Samira 2 kills, finishes the IE, even though she's down 40 CS.
Yeah.
She is even on items. Caitlyn does have the Zerks, but that's not important. Samira popped off in that. She gets S rank, and when that happens, you have to run for the hills because she gets her ult, she gets resets, she's all over the place. She's AD Katarina.
Especially since that started with I'm Gabe going in for the pulverized flash, and they were able to turn that around. So,
very good. And 2 kills and the shutdown going over to Azir. Although he is down 30 CS, that 2 kills and the shutdown probably make up for that. So they're probably sitting out pretty even. SRC still is up 2k gold, and that's mostly from the farm. Every lane except for top is getting... Whoa, Megan Foxy just gets a solo kill. I did not think that was going to happen. But Shen damage is a lot.
Yeah, he has no health built. He finished the Bork. Now he was just sitting on the Cutlass and the recurve bow, but Megan Foxy hit the good taunt under tower to force Ragnarok to burn the flash, and then just had a really good trade afterwards.
Yeah, and Ragnarok kind of disrespecting him. He lost the trade. He had to burn his flash, and then he came back for more. He wanted some of that Megan Fox, I guess. So, and this is very big for PTC. We kind of talked about them being the underdog. They are down 3k gold.
Yeah, almost 3k, yeah.
So with that big Shen winning and being able to win in the side lane is so important for a Shen, because if you can win the side lane, you can just run the split, and if Set cannot answer you confidently, it's only going to get easier for Shen because he does have the blade now, and that's kind of like the big power spike for these melee tops who build it. But getting that solo kill now, Megan Fox is going to pick up some armor, hopefully a Bramble Vest coming in here to stop that healing so he can really just dominate the set on the split. But we see Hecarim roll into the lane bush.
Yeah, they don't know Jig's here, but they have some idea because Kha'Zix is over the wall, and they do see the Kha'Zix.
And Braum jumps in, and so all the CC is burned. Look for Samira to get off a big combo.
TP's coming in from Set, I believe.
Yeah, Set comes in, but Deadpool is kind of chilling. He's just getting his stacks up. He's at a B rank.
Ragnarok
Can he get A?
Again.
And he's not looking to get too hyphy and get in there, but the big thing to watch is Alistar's CC. If he burns it on something like the Braum, Samira can play a lot more freely. Knowing that combo is down, you have to step on a Caitlyn trap, and that feels bad if it happens. But that's a lot bigger window, and you can play a lot more aggressively with the ultimate with all the CC down. Because then the only other thing is Shockwave and Set E, and if they're not in the area, you can just fly in there and start spinning around and doing some damage. So, and we see Shen, the power of Shen, his ultimate being able to traverse globally makes Ragnarok use his TP, and now he has TP advantage. So this dragon that's coming up in 2 minutes, PTC should look to make a play around, but yeah, this Kha'Zix is out of hand. And
they need to get vision in that red side jungle because they have like a little bit in the top side, but
yeah, they have him in the Pixel and the River Brush in mid.
Oh, and a sick
other than that, sick Shockwave, but Samira just gets the ult and says, "Oh, I'm gonna double kill you." And this is looking really good for Deadpool. The rest of his team is kind of falling apart. The Hecarim delivery is not working as intended, with Kha'Zix jung gapping pretty hard, but Samira can deliver Shen as well if she really wants to. But Set comes in and lands a big, but she goes in with the ultimate, and nice save of the wind wall. Not enough to survive, and Megan Foxy taunts into a trap. And he's probably going to go down there, but we see the power of Samira and the downfall of her. If they're outside that circle, you're not damaging them. And working as intended, kind of the perfect answer, because Kha'Zix
get out of
jump
that
gapping pretty hard.
Just wait
but
for you to use
Samira can deliver Shen as well if she really wants to.
Off
But Set comes in and lands a big.
even
But
though
she
they're
goes
down,
in with the ultimate. And
almost 3K again.
Nice save of the wind wall.
Honestly, it's kind of what I expected it to be at this point.
And Megan Foxy taunts into a
PTC
trap.
having more of a later game.
And he's probably going to go down there. But
SRC doing really well in the early game. But when Samira has 5 kills already, and yeah, she's down CS, but having so many kills right now makes it so that their late game feels a lot better.
A lot more manageable, especially with the lack of CC. The build on Samira is pretty interesting. So I do really like the Tabby, especially into a super fed Kha'Zix. But a lot of times we see Essence Reaver into Infinity Edge, into Lifesteal, Death Stance, Bloodthirster, one of the two. But we see the IE right away, so really going for that front-end damage, not the cooldown reduction, so you can weave in more Qs and stuff like that. And Hecarim rolls up, misses the ultimate, and Shen gets delivered, but there's no one to deliver him to. Alistar kind of donates himself, gives Samir a lot of stacks.
And a super good stream shuffle from Mega Man.
Yeah, Mega Man kind of on vision. There was a ward in the river bush. He goes over. He's not afraid.
CLG just disrespected it because they already used the Shockwave.
Yeah, did PTC have vision? Okay, they did have a ward over that. I thought he went over that blind. I was like, he is very brave. But we see the 2 wards. Because if you know Orianna's there, but if you don't know where the Caitlyn is or the Set, going over that wall could be suicide, and that would have looked really bad. But they did have a ward, so it wasn't as risky, but we'll give it to them. And Samira looking really good again.
Yeah, she's getting a lot of gold right now. It was so weird that last fight because the engage didn't go how PTC wanted it to go.
Yeah, we see Shen actually going in on this Kha'Zix, and Jig and Jag picks up the kill. Revenge for all those camps that went down, and Mega Man rolls in. Is Set going to go down? He probably
he's going
is.
to get him with the Sand Soldiers. Is there one more Q?
He fails it, and Mega Man does pick it up. I wasn't sure because Hecarim doesn't have the damage yet.
Yeah,
he
true.
did forego the Trinity Force to go for the Cinderhulk rush. So
I'm not gonna lie, I wonder if he's gonna skip the Trinity Force and just kind of be like a frontline tank bot.
Yeah,
but I mean, Mega Man
CLG
Zero
comes
has
in.
teleport.
Yeah, Deadpool.
And he's gonna teleport into this.
Yeah, kiting very well. Orianna did not have access right away, and yeah, Azir comes in with the Shrema shuffle, but took
Mega Man Zero does get it.
He does get the kill. CLG kind of disrespecting once again the Azir damage and kind of the reach of that champion. Very long range and sustained damage. Deadpool popped the ult on the Alistar, and then right as he used it, Orianna hopped the wall, which kind of feels bad because you're like, oh, if I would have just saved that, maybe we have some more turn potential. But Mega Man getting all these kills is very good for PTC because he's sitting at 403. The kills are going to the people you want them on.
Yeah.
Where on the other side, Alistar's sitting at 3 kills. Caitlyn's at 0. Orianna's 1 and 4. Kha'Zix does have a lot of kills, and that we really saw that used efficiently with the kind of the jungle kingdom. But Hecarim adjusted. He went tank. He's just frontlining. He's just delivering the Shen to the back line, and that's really good awareness of knowing. Okay, I'm falling behind.
Yeah. And like we said before, just a couple thousand gold before, it was like 3,000 gold deficit, but now the gold is like pretty much dead even. So, and then especially when this mid tower gets knocked down, which it's on at 1 HP, then yeah, it's going to actually be dead even. So
yeah, and Samir going for the Death Dance second, I do like the adjustment because Kha'Zix is a problem. He is jumping on you, and if you can reduce that damage, even though it's not a whole lot anymore on ranged champions, and Samir is always counted as a ranged champion, if you can survive just a little bit longer, you have that chance to pop that ult, get Conqueror stacked, and survive. And that's the thing that is very cool about Samir ult, is that it's utilizes lifesteal, so you can kind of tank through your ult if you're not getting CC'd in one shot. But yeah, Azir and Samira are out of control, and it's Kha'Zix's job to delete one of them, and if he's able to, I think the team fight goes SRC's way. If not, I think PTC is going to be able to pull off these 5v5s.
Yeah. Kind of like what we were talking about before, Azir is also really close to having the Leandri's Torment done, which will be a really nice buy. And see the Kha'Zix.
Yeah,
but then the other thing
just
is nice
fishing here
is
for
that
Hecarim, I think. He's just looking to kill this Hecarim more.
The other thing that's nice is that this is a Cloud Soul, so if PTC can get a couple more Cloud Dragons for the Hecarim ulti, which is pretty long, and the Shen ulti, then they're going to be able to make a lot of proactive plays. But Big Lots is face checking blind. They don't have a ward in that bush, and forces flash, but then also gets the TP out of Ragnarok.
Yeah, he gets the TP out and gets headbutted into their whole team, and no one really like blew everything on him, which is good. But he kind of gets out of jail for free there. He was kind of caught out, no vision, no wards up, I'm assuming, as he's not dropping any. He face checked that, I assumed to place a ward, but then he didn't place a ward. So maybe just going on a little adventure, trying to find the enemy team. But they seem to be funneling a lot of this farm onto the Samira and the Azir. I saw Azir kind of foregoing CSing to give it to Samira earlier. They probably really want to hit this Death Dance spike because she can survive a little bit longer in these team fights. But yeah, CLG going right at Megan Foxy, and he gets the flash out of CLG, which is okay, but trades it. Taunt flash is just so important. I would have just liked to see him go down.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty important. Because you have the Hecarim that is a delivery, it's not as important, but considering that you traded for CLG's flash, and CLG's just playing immobile Orianna, like, yes, you have a speed boost, but you don't have a dash like Caitlyn does. So.
Yeah, very true, and now she's kind of a sitting duck for that Shurima Shuffle. The one thing, Air Drag is very good on PTC. It's not as good on SRC. Their ultimates are... Obviously, Shockwave is very impactful, but Kha'Zix doesn't have the best use for it. The speed boost is okay.
And then Alice is alright.
But Hecarim, Shen, and feel really good. Not only the cooldown reduction on it, but I was thinking of the speed boost after using the ult is very good on like Hecarim because that's just free AD.
Yeah, it's pretty much
he's kind of like the only champion that benefits a lot from Cloud Dragon. Now that I think about it.
And Mega Man Zero's, just
CLG is just chilling in this bush and getting kills. But,
but you have
Megan Foxy rolls in
for CLG, and CLG doesn't have flash.
No flash, But that was twice he just camped in that bush, and I thought he was going to get another kill.
Mega Man Zero got really low, but he doesn't have teleport, so them starting this Baron doesn't actually matter.
Yeah, Megan Foxy's and Mega Man have TP up, so they both are going to be coming in here, and Samira is going to be hitting that S rank. Actually pops the ult just to finish off set. And now they're going on the chase, and doesn't have ultimate. Oh, he does have ultimate. Azir has ultimate, and he's looking for the Shurima Shuffle, but Samira just hog and dash over the wall.
Oh, they get
Oh, and is he going to get it? Okay,
Oh,
Mega
yeah.
Man Zero
Yeah, he
flashes
does get it.
for
He
the
does get
auto.
I was gonna say he tagged him with the Braum Q, which slowed him. So, but they don't. Do they not know where Timeless is?
They do
They
now.
do now.
And the one thing people don't think about Samira is her ranks not only give her access to her ultimate, but they also grant bonus movement speed. So when
This
she's
is
on the
CLG up again.
CLG, just running it down.
Big Lots is so low.
Yeah, that was huge. And like we said, PTC's team comp scales very well. And after falling behind a lot, they turn it around. And now they're sitting at a gold lead, getting a free Baron kind of gifted to them after CLG TPs into 5-man.
Yeah.
Timeless Juggle.
Yeah,
Was
Mega
Mega
Fox
Foxy
a lot
and
more,
Mega Man have TP up. So
and-
oh, and
both
we
are
have
gonna
time
be
for an
coming
instant
in here.
replay. We
And
got it
Samira's
working.
gonna
I
be
forgot to
hitting
mention that
that
earlier. So
Actually,
Deadpool
pops
gets
the
the
ult
ultimate
just to finish
off,
set.
and then we see
Jiggy Jig
PTC. Now they're going on the chase.
Jiggy Jig was like distracting like
Doesn't
everyone else
have
for them to
ultimate.
free hit.
Oh yeah, like we said before, the tank really ultimate paying off here. He's not
and
dying.
he's
looking for the
as
stream
soon-
shuffle, but
and
Samira
Samira
gets
is
these
just
stacks. She could. So on kill, she gets a
they get the
reset. I would have liked to see her dash over the Oh, wall
and
and just kill.
is he
Kabos,
gonna get it?
'cause then
Okay,
they have
Mega
Mega Man
Man
Zero
yeah, he
flashes
does it.
to chase. It ends up working out because they took more time, so CLG's like, I'm going to come save the day, and TP's in. So it ended up giving them an extra kill and the Baron, but...
Yeah, and now they have a really nice gold lead now, and they're hitting their power spikes really hard. So Samira has the Dust Ant. She just finished the Last Whisper also. Going to have Lord Dominic's Regard very soon.
Yeah, and she's just foregoing Essence Reaver in general. AD scales very well on Samira, so the more BF swords you can get, the better.
Yeah.
But... going right for the Last Whisper to get through the Sunfire Tabby. We see that's kind of the only armor, so interesting there. But Last Whisper is very good no matter what. And Timeless is kind of caught out again. He does have the invisibility and gets out, but Mega Man's onto him, and he's running him down.
Yeah, Big Loss blocking the ace in the hole from Caitlyn.
Yeah.
Didn't has a little bit of damage, but...
he's fishing for these picks, and this is where Kha'Zix, while getting that early lead, is not as proficient as someone like, I know we keep touching on Graves and stuff, but this is why those champions are so good right now, is Kha'Zix was so far ahead. He had like 50 CS lead, but now he just has to look for picks. That's kind of his one strength, where Hecarim, Graves, and those other farming, scaling junglers bring a lot more at this stage of the game.
Not to mention that, like, even if those other carry junglers fall behind, you can still do stuff. So, like, Graves can still smoke screen, which causes a lot of chaos. Nidalee can still throw spears from far away.
And
but
heal, yeah.
Yeah, but Kha'Zix has to jump in melee range, and that is not what you want to do against this comp where you
against
have
an Azir, Samira.
and then, like, if you go Shentons into Braum passive, which stuns, it's just, you get one shot.
You're just dead. So it's a very hard comp to execute in comparison to the Hecarim. And he said, screw Triforce. I'm going Sterix. I am the front line.
Just living, yeah.
And that's I think that's a very good adjustment and is keeping PTC in this game, because if he was going for the Trinity Force, and he probably would have just finished it at the rate this early game is going, he would be so much more squishy. Kha'Zix would probably have like 7 more kills, and this game would be a completely different story. But Jig and Jag adjusting and just being that tank, even though he's on the Hecarim, which we see do a lot of damage sometimes, but he can do he can be cosplay a tank as well. And they're really looking, so SRC really needs to get a pick here. As CLG did before in the bot lane, they really need PTC to overextend so they can take an uneven fight, because at this point, PTC is a 3.5K gold lead on the superior scaling team.
And Timeless Struggle is about to take a really
Megan
bad
Foxy,
trade. Having to jump up with... Megan Foxy
burns his flash. He was a little nervous. They are securing the dragon, so their team is very split. I think it was just a proactive flash. Rather flash and not die than try and hold on to it and end up dying.
Yeah.
Because if he does die, their team fight gets so much worse, because they just have a pseudo front line with Hecarim, and then 2 backline and Samira who's looking to jump in. But their team fight is kind of relying on this Hecarim now to frontline along with the Shen. So if either of those get picked, their team fight power goes down a lot, because there's a lot more assassination potential from the Kha'Zix.
Also looking at itemization, so Azir almost has the death cap done, so he's going to be pumping out a lot of damage.
Huge spike.
But talking about the Samir, how she's already on a couple items, Braum has Zeke's Convergence done and almost has the Knight's Vow done, and does have it done.
He just finishes it.
So
and that's really big
so
for the Kha'Zix trying to pick her off.
Yeah.
She has QSS now.
Yeah, it must be for... Because you can, like, you can QSS,
QSS.
on the pulverize
Yeah.
and then like dash out as Samir, so that'll be really nice. Same thing with Set if he gets this done off the face breaker.
Yeah, it's not the easiest thing to do because you have to input a movement ability after the QSS.
Yeah.
So
Samir does so much damage already that's like you don't need like more damage. You don't need like
True.
BF sword. You can just try to live. So even if it's just for pulverize, like
and some MR is good against
Yeah.
Orianna, so it kind of
Yeah.
serves two purposes.
Mm-hmm.
But like you were saying, she does do so much damage, but it's more the base damage on her ult got gutted in early game, but late game it's still at 16 it's the same.
Oh, yeah.
So it's still like 200 damage a second or whatever to everything in the circle. It's just is wild. So once she hits 16, she is very strong,
Yeah.
and she's got to be close here with how it's going. And Kabos had the huge lead in bot lane and still in CS, but he's down a level, probably going to be close to 2 levels here, or a level and a half, give or take. So not being able to push that advantage with this comp was kind of the fear. And I did really like SRC's comp going in if they were able to snowball. But PTC is absorbed the snowball, but Deadpool isolated here, and this is what they have to avoid. But Jig and Jag ults to stop the Caitlyn ult.
Yeah, kind of just seeing, I guess, if they're going to push any further. So
Yeah.
because they have the double cloud, like you can use the hacker multi like that, and it's all right.
Yeah, and he's peeling. He knows his role. He's not using that to assassinate backline like originally intended, but if he can protect his Samira with an ult, he'll do it. So just a little lull state. Fighting for vision here. We see Dragon coming up in 2 minutes, Baron up in 3 seconds. So
Yeah, Big Lots just chilling, getting vision.
yeah, and SRC's getting vision or clearing vision around Dragon when Baron is spawning, and you know Hecarim doesn't have ult, which is kind of their initiation and peel. So I would have liked to see SRC move towards that Baron to get the vision instead of the Dragon. While Hecarim ult's down is probably their best chance at winning a fight if they're looking to fight here. But with it coming up in just like 20 seconds here, their window is closing, so they were going to have to play defensive again. So that would have been a good opportunity to get some vision. And we see them have very good vision around the Dragon. They have this deep ward behind red, and we'll see if Jig and Jag checks it.
Yep.
And he does. So
I actually really like the red ward that's in the middle, like dead-ass middle of the lane in the mid lane.
Yeah,
So
that's such a good ward because you can
clear
see
the
where
wave.
everyone's going.
yeah. So it would be paired a lot nicer if there was some red ward in the top river to see them like actually move around in the Baron, because some people would just 5-man second that pixel bush to try to get a pick.
Yeah, so if you know the team moved towards that direction, if they had another deep ward, whether it be by blue buff or in the pixel, would be complete the vision, because then you're not worried about a sneak or anything, or just someone cheat an Azir Shen chilling in the
Yeah.
bush waiting to kill you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
they're
I'm-
playing it right though. They have to kind of slow this game out. They have to get Caitlyn to her 4th item, which Caitlyn does have a weakish mid game where she's in between items, but she's not even going a Zeal item. I'm not sure what this BF sword's gonna be. Is it gonna be Bloodthirster? I am not
Bloodthirster
sure.
or Essence Weaver? I would think it should be Bloodthirster.
Kabos, very
don't
big MF player. You don't build Zeal on MF. You don't need
Yeah.
Zeal on Caitlyn. But RFC is very good on her. Maybe
RFC is
consider
pretty
it.
good. Honestly, I would be. What I would like to see out of PTC is to have Mega Man Zero and Jig and Jag do the Baron. They could definitely do it. So two
Two-man,
people.
yeah.
Like Azir does a lot of damage to.
Especially with
the
this
Baron.
build with
Yeah,
not
Azir did
Morello's,
get nerfs like a
Leandre's.
little bit because W lost 5% attack speed, and then
But he's
I
going to
wonder
cut
if
out
they're-
here, and they're going to get a pick onto him.
Yeah,
and
they're
that's
gonna find
huge.
him.
And Dragon just spawned, and this is what SRC needs. They needed a pick like that, and now Set ults Deadpool into the team. He's on A rank, so he's going to have the ultimate, and he gets it off, but he gets CC'd. Alistar saving the headbutt until that ultimate went off, and this is what PTC needed to avoid. They could not
Yeah.
allow this to happen. A pick into a 4v5 team fight, and that was kind of like the only way they lose this game, is if that happens into the Dragon. So now they're both on soul point, and SRC's probably going to get the Baron here. And
death timers are super long.
yeah, and we see Set actually chasing Shen around. They're kind of having a merry-go-round. I don't know if Shen's going to go for this. They are looking like they're going to... Wait, he's TP? Oh, my.
TP in top.
Yeah,
But,
is
like,
he going to
Mega
go
Man's-
for this steal? I hope not.
No. There's no way he can get anything done there.
He wants to. His TP on Mega Man, so he could come in a second here. But Gabe is ringing the cowbell. And, yeah, that was kind of like worst case scenario. That was TSM throwing. And,
yeah.
that was like the only way they lose that game.
pick
Or
onto
that-
him.
Yeah,
this
that's
game.
huge.
And we see right here, we have another instant replay. We're going to roll it back again, give it a try. Yeah, so set Showstoppers Samira into the team, and Alistar didn't save Headbutt. He actually had the E proc, or the whatever one that ticks up. I'm not sure what it is, but
the E.
he saved the auto attack until she procced her ult, and then she was just dead. And other than that, Azir caught out. He was just pushed up to tier 2. Sure, he had his Sand Soldier turret up, but at this point in the game, Alistar, Orianna, Kha'Zix can dive so easily, especially just a single target. Very questionable. I think the PayPal must have went through to Mega Man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, and so the lead right now for gold is 1.5 for SRC, which is really nice, but it's still
tough.
I still think it's an uphill battle for them. Like, it's more just like a denial Baron, try to buy out some time. And
Well,
maybe
they just need to get another pick.
Yeah,
if they can do what they just did, replicate it one more time, they can
get
at least at least get an inhib, and then
be able to apply some pressure elsewhere. Yeah,
and that's what they need to do. Their comp is getting outscaled with the Azir, Samira, but if they're able to just make it uneven fights and take these favorable trades, wait out the Baron, and then just do what they were doing before the pick happened, they'll be sitting fine for PTC. But SRC and Timeless Struggle knows that this is their win con. So he's fishing in a bush, looking for someone rotating towards CLG, and just trying to get a pick here. Braum and Hecarim are not the targets you want to do because they are full tank. But if this Azir gets caught in rotation, like he was rotating right there, if Kha'Zix would have had vision and been able to jump him and get the kill, they could just blow this game open, with Baron especially, because then they could siege so much more efficiently. And we see SRC playing 3 lanes.
Yeah, super good out of that.
Yeah, that's a very good macro. When you're playing, especially into like Shen, Azir with TP, like you would assume PTC would be playing the 3 lanes. Obviously not into Baron, but SRC kind of showing very good macro play here, and using full advantage of this Baron that they kind of stole from PTC. Stole it right under their nose.
Yeah, luckily there aren't any towers that fell that that shouldn't have fallen. So they got the mid tier 2, which was expected, but they didn't get any inhib towers, which is definitely solid out of PGC. Like, that is like, you'll take that. It's not like it's whatever for the Baron. They do get
as long as they don't lose inhib.
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
Chilling. Because then that's a pressure point that Shen has to answer. But the big thing is the dragon, which is really bad because is TP different than Flash? Yes, it is. Flash is the yellow one. TP is the purple one. But anyways, if PTC was able to get that dragon, Elder would be on, and that would just be another timer for SRC. So now they kind of can extend that timer. Baron gives them prio in these side lanes, and they can get better control to not give over soul, and more time to look for picks. We just gotta look for picks, guys.
Yeah, they really need to find picks, because even though they lost the dragon and it is at 3-3, PTC is definitely okay with playing this game out longer than it needs to be, because as the game goes on, it just gets easier for PTC, and they're gonna have so many items. Orianna does have a lot of farm and has a lot of gold under her belt, so she has the Spellbinder finish, which I love that item. It's what I call it, like DFG on steroids.
Yeah,
it's
so really good with speed. Samira, because you can just use taunt. You just go like this on your taunt because it goes to 100, which is stupid. It should not do that. But PTC is the one thing I don't like about what they're doing right now is Shen is losing the side. We saw him be so dominant for so long. And he has double global, so he has TP and ult. And we see Timeless Struggle actually get almost a pick. Sterak's really paying off there, allowing Jig and Jag to survive, because if he goes down there, this Dragon definitely is going to go over to SRC. But Ragnarok is just taking this inhib. Megan Foxy has to answer him, so now he's not going to be able to join this fight, and he's a big part of their front line. So if they can't protect Azir and Samira, this fight goes a lot better for...
CLG's flashing forward, looking for the ulti, but he gets hit by the Hacker multi.
Yeah,
and everyone else is just peeling off. Get the...
We see a big front to back.
Shockwave that just eliminates Mega Man Zero,
Mega
and now
Man
Deadpool's
gets
all alone.
Yeah, he gets the ult off, but yeah, Deadpool, oh, he got the ult off. And we see Ragnarok just running Megan Foxy down, cancels the ult, which was huge for that team fight because Megan Foxy wasn't able to join. And he might have been able to get a huge taunt if he was able to get in there. Ragnarok probably is going to go down, but his job was done. He canceled the TP, and SRC just steal this game, honestly.
Yeah, I would think that this is going to be the game. You have Hacker coming up in 15 seconds, and so is Braum, but you have a big minion wave, and Orianna does a lot of damage to this tower, so does Caitlyn.
Caitlyn does too, especially at this point. And Gabe
Kind of
cancels the
reverse synergy.
He cancels the taunt though, which was big. I don't think it really mattered, but SRC steals the game. I almost thought they had no chance of winning, but then they get pick after pick after pick, and
awesome shockwave out of CLG.
And that's the power of Orianna, and that's why she's so good. One ultimate can completely change a team fight, and Shen not being able to join, Set was weak. We saw him losing the side lane, but he was able to get in top lane, get that pressure with the down tower from the Baron, pressure the inhib, so Shen had to answer him, and then their 4v4 without Shen. Hecarim isn't like the big tank front line. If you're fighting front to back, and if it's Alistar front line versus Hecarim front line, I'm taking Alistar 100 times out of 100. And we saw that they were able to just melt through the Hecarim. He ulted in the backline, and usually when Hecarim is like Triforce, Death's Dance, strong damage items, he can threaten the backline. But he ulted back there and did no damage. They're like, oh, we're just going to kill you in one shot because he isolated himself. Kha'Zix pressed Q, erased his health bar, and then they had no front line. Braum did his best, and he can frontline decent, but he doesn't have the tank stats because he was going for that support build with Zeke's.
Especially against that team comp, like the Braum shield actually doesn't do that much. There's not that many like projectiles are coming at you. So
Ori Ball, I think.
Yeah.
The main
so
one.
you're not getting as much value out of that.
So. That was an exciting turn though. I wish we would be able to see the gold chart because it was like SRC, PTC, SRC, PTC, like 10K, and then SRC just took the gold lead at the end of the game. So very back and forth, exciting game. And we're going to take a small break here, probably get her going quick. But we'll see you in like 5-ish minutes.
Yeah, stay tuned.
I'm stuck in my bed. I'm not tired, I'm trying to find out what's wrong. Time has passed on without a call. It feels too weird to ring up. I had cashed out by feeling love to soothe the care. To keep up
can't believe I wrestled this out of the hands of Muzzy and GQ. It wasn't easy. Probably lost 5 years out of my lifespan, but it was worth it. I present to you the greatest dub plate that will ever exist. I did this for you, Monster Cat community. You owe me one.
This is the crowd rave.
Citizens of a future redefined. No regrets tied to the things we leave behind. Brand new possibilities, technologies, and currencies. A new sun will rise, the shadows quickly.
All right, guys, welcome back for game number 2. SRC stealing the game, even though they had the inferior scaling comp. Very good macro play and probably just clear comms. And we were just talking about Shen and Set at the top inhib. I'm really curious of what was going on. The thing that came to my mind was Shen was probably looking for the ult, and Set just ran him down and said, "We're there 4v4 and we're 1v1." And
Yeah. But SRC was totally fine with kind of like poking more, where PTC's comp has to hard engage. They can't just like posture around while like SRC can. So they were fine with just throwing out random Caitlyn autos and Orianna Qs.
Yeah. And then going back to the draft, because we have PTC going to be on blue side again. I think the bans are going to change for SRC. I think Samira's going to hit the bans. Would not surprise me. But other than that, I think the draft was fine for PTC.
They fell down a little bit. Like they found like 3K, which was like an okay amount, but it's not like terrible where it's like you can come back from it. And granted, a lot of that was SRC just misplaying and giving away kills like practically like for free. So that definitely helped. But PTC made a comeback. They were looking strong, up a couple thousand in the mid game, and I would be shocked if they let Samira go through again.
And then maybe we'll see the Aphelios from Deadpool, but he's a different beast than Samira. Samira is newest champion, so you know how that goes. She's kind of strong, even though her win rate doesn't reflect it. I think you really have to get the feel down for her.
Yeah, definitely a high skill cap for sure.
Yeah, a handful of games because you have to pick your timings very precisely. Otherwise, you just die because you're still an 80 carry at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But SRC's comp, I really thought they were going to steamroll and run away with the game. And they almost did. They had that 3K gold lead, like you said, fumbled a little bit in mid-game, and then they were like, oh, we get outscaled. So we kind of have to improvise and make some plays happen. And they ended up doing it and getting the W. So if they want to go for that style of team comp again, it does have a higher skill of execution, as we saw in that game. It's a lot more difficult to start fights when you have stuff like the Caitlyn, Orianna and the Kazakhs mainly. He jumps in, he gets bursted, but he can deliver the ball. And Alistar, I think, was the big MVP of that game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
He was getting picks. He was saving his stun for the Samira. We saw a couple key fights where he comboed to start the fight and then peeled back to cancel the Samira. So he just played it very intelligently.
Yeah, the one that was awesome was when Set got the flank on Samira, altered her back. Samira had to flash out, but then Alistair had the E-empowered auto into the pulverize, walked around and headbutted right back in the team.
You can't do much against that. So, a big combo, and I'm Gabe played very cleanly. I was impressed, and Alistar is sometimes hit or miss, where if he's ahead, he looks really good. But even in that game, when they started to fall behind, he was still making the plays, and he's a great flanking champion, but he was kind of forced to be the front line. Because Set was in the side lane pretty much in most of the team fights, except for a handful. So it's a lot harder to make those flashy Alistar plays when you're not flanking and getting a free combo on the back line. But he played it very cleanly, and should be getting into Champ Select in just a minute here. So I think the Caitlyn Alistar actually R1, R2 paid off. I still don't think the priority should be there, but
and the priority on the Alistar could definitely be there, but you could have picked something else instead of the Caitlyn since they're already showing AD carry. So they could have picked that R3 if they wanted to. But there's also value in wanting to hide their picks.
Yeah. If they have a big champ pool or want to see some more information. And then CLG's Orianna looked great, along with Mega Man Zero's Azir. They both played very well. CLG fell behind early. He was 1-4 at one point, and I was like, oh, he's kind of that gap. If Azir gets very ahead, he can kind of shut out Orianna because he has a little bit longer range of and the dash to get onto her. And if she doesn't have flash, he can just stream a shuffler in. But we saw him get the pick on Shen and then kind of start a lot of these fights with the shockwave and turn the tide of the fights, and that's why you pick Orianna for a big shockwave and game winners. So that's always a plus, and we're getting into Champ Select. Woo! So I assume their bans are going to stay the same. You got to hit Kabos's MF right away, and then the Urgot from Ragnarok. I can't say I've seen. I thought Urgot was awful, but everyone keeps playing him, so he keeps having some priority. So that must mean he's okay.
Yeah, and so here's the first change in the bans. You got the Shen ban out of Magnum Foxy. He put in a lot of work last game.
Yeah, that did not look like fun to play in top lane.
Yeah, he had 3 different taunts that he clipped under tower, so then people were taking multiple tower shots. Still the Lulu ban.
Lulu stand, yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if that's top is kind of where I think Lulu is the best because she's kind of a lane bully, but she also scales very well while building support.
And then the Syndra ban instead of the Leona. So, I mean, Leona and Alistar, along with Nautilus, are all very similar, but
Samira is going to be first picked again, so they must not have thought that was the problem. She looked pretty good, but wasn't able to bring home the W. So, and we might just see the same drafts coming through here, minus the Shen. So I wonder if Alistar is going to be picked right here. He looked very good last game, and he kind of brings the tower. Yeah, there it is. He brings tower dive, engage, peel, but just the worst level 1 in the entire game. Maybe not anymore, but one of the worst. He feels pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not great. I mean, technically you could insect someone if you want to invade level 1.
True.
But
not very impactful level 1. And Malphite coming out. He's the replacement for Shen. So I'm not a huge fan of blind Malphite, but Red Side's gonna have counter pick anyways. So, and Mega Man gonna take the Orianna. So very good initiation here. And Malphite, like you said last game, is a very good counter to Samira. So maybe just picking it away and saying, just try to survive. He was putting in work in lane last game. Just try to survive and bring that big team fight initiation. And then here's the man with the plan, Ornn, coming in here. Does everything Malphite does, but he's also a gold printer, assassin, mage.
Yeah. But
Ornn or Malphite is very good. But I think Ornn is good into Malphite. I'm not sure how that lane
well,
goes.
kind
It's
of like
gonna
what we
be
were talking about
boring.
before, how they picked the set instead of the Ornn because Samira can eat the Ornn ulti.
Yeah.
And that's what it happened this game, and they picked the Ornn. So I'm not really 100% sure on this because if you throw the Ornn like
There's
ulti
no better
backwards,
feeling than
yeah, you
Samir
just
ulting an Ornn
completely
ult.
negate that. Because like they banned the Braum, which is the other thing that blocks it.
Yeah. So, but Samira's win wall is very good. But like you said, you can like use the Ornn ult backwards and then ult in, and maybe if her W is down, but she should definitely be saving it. And maybe we'll see some more CC here. Last game we saw, but Lucian's going to fall through all the way for CLG, and I'll let you touch on this because I have no experience in mid. But
I love Lucian mid. It has a lot of priority. I'm not sure how it's going to wrap up this game because they already have the Malphite showing, so that's another just benefit for having the Malphite. So the jungler from Timeless has to be an
right?
AP jungler, otherwise they're going to be hard lacking damage. And this is what I love about the Graves pick now, because with everything up, Graves will practically be even. We were talking about like the Nidalee getting nerfed before, so if they go with AP jungler, it would have to be like Lilia, Evelyn, or maybe like Echo.
yeah, and R5 jungle pick here is very interesting. Teemo jungle, there's your AP. Oh, I was, but yeah, Echo kind of seems the same style as Kha'Zix last game. I'm not sure if Timeless is like a big assassin jungle player, but it definitely seems like it.
Yeah.
And
I've seen Timeless Echo. It's pretty good. The only question is of if you can have an answer for Echo. Like Echo does really well if it gets ahead, and it kind of just like snowballs out of control.
Yeah, and I'm looking at mid lane here. Graves Orianna 2v2 versus Echo Lucian. At 6, Echo can dive in, initiate the take tower aggro on Orianna under tower, and then ult out. And that is just such a good ultimate. It's kind of similar to Evelyn, where you can just drop aggro, and he just ults back to wherever he came from. And Lucian mid prio is unmatched right now. He's too strong.
Especially because you could just like slide the piercing light in between a minion and hit Orianna with some damage.
Yeah,
it's pretty annoying. And then it has like a disgusting level 2 because you pretty much always hit level 2 first, and then you can just like E auto, Q auto, and that procs press the attack. So
and it pretty much kills everyone.
Yeah.
And I'm interested if he's going to go double TP. Orianna's probably going to go with the TP unless she feels really threatened and opts for barrier. But Lucian can even opt for Ignite if he really wants to go for these kills. I mean, most of the time we see the safer route with the TP, but
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if CLG goes Ignite. If anything, I could see Mega Man Zero going Exhaust. It would actually be really good against the Lucian and the Echo.
Yeah, that would be a great take.
But Mega Man Zero, especially with PTC, has been more known to trying to play for his team more, especially Deadpool Gambit trying to put out a lot of damage. So I would not be surprised if he just sticks with the teleport to match the map pressure.
And CC is always important when talking about Samira. So Alistar has the same CC as last game, but then once again, mid no CC. Echo W should never stun a Samira ult. It might happen, but it shouldn't.
Like
it shouldn't
if you get the Q flash out of Alistar to hit the Samira, then like you can. But the only thing that you have for hitting Samira is like the Alistar engage, because that orange should never be able to knock up Samira.
Yeah, unless she's by a wall or there's a sneaky pillar or something.
Yeah.
Ornn does some nasty things, but yeah, she has the wind wall for his ult. It's not a wind wall, but that's just I don't know what the actual name is, but Samira has another opportunity to pop off and look great, just like she did last game, and maybe be able to get to the finish line. But if Echo's able to snowball like Kha'Zix did last game, he's going to be a huge threat, even more so than Kha'Zix was, I think. He's just very strong and having the ability to go in and then also get out, where Kha'Zix has to get the kill reset on his jump, and he doesn't always evolve that first. I'm not up to date on Kha'Zix evolutions.
I think we will go R first, just for the invisibility, try to cause as much chaos. But
so Echo has that at 6 for free to be able to get out, where Kha'Zix needs to get the kill and then jump out. And if CLG and Timeless Struggler are able to pair up and go after Jig and Jag, Graves is very strong in the 1v1, but if there's a Lucian Echo running after him, he is not going to have fun. And if Jig and Jake falls behind like he did last game, it's he can't just go tank.
Yeah, it'll definitely be better than last game. Like Graves can fight back in like the 1v1, where last game if Kha'Zix runs in, like you don't even need your mid laner, and Kha'Zix will just mess up the hack room. Echo can't really do that against the Graves, and even if say like the Lucian comes, both Echo and Lucian more, where like if they get hit by the smoke screen, it's like harder because you can't apply your passive. Where at least if it's Echo, you can just like E out of it and then like use your auto attack to jump on people.
Yeah, so that's my big focus is that mid jungle matchup. Top lane's probably gonna be a Resident Sleeper, tank v tank.
Yeah.
Boo. And then bot lane's gonna be pretty much the same as last game. I do really like the Nautilus instead of the Braum in this game because Samir's passive is going to be much easier to proc with autos, with hooks, and if she's able to get a kill lead, she might be able to snowball a little bit harder than with the Braum. She doesn't really have the go button with Braum that she does with Nautilus, where Nautilus can start fights. Braum is more of a reactionary support, more a defensive tank support where Nautilus goes in.
Yeah, and both supports are actually looking to play aggressive because both of them have Ignite instead of Exhaust, where Exhaust would actually be pretty valuable in either scenario. You could have Alistair have it for Samir or Graves, and then Nautilus could have it for Lucian Echo as well.
Yeah, I think Exhaust into Samira is very strong because if she does get her ult off, you just drop the Exhaust on her and it does a lot less damage and is a lot more manageable. And we're probably going to see a 5-point here again. Echo fishing for a W, but I don't think it's going to land, and we might just see kind of the same. Oh, and a TSM
flare.
Ugh. That stings.
Yeah, that's a feels bad.
For the TSM fans out there, does not feel nice. That's a little more cute, a little Halloween kitty. And the big thing is Lucian, like we said, taking the Ignite. CLG really looked like he was trying to kill everyone last game. He was not afraid. He was running in. I respect it.
Yeah.
So Ignite gonna pair up well, and Lucian in a side lane with Ignite is not someone you want to run into. And then Graves with Flash. There was a little bit of a flavor of the month Ignite, and you see it every once in a while still, because that is so strong. And this game, I actually would have liked to see it because of last game. You know, Timeless Struggle is going to be running at you and trying to fight you. If you have the Ignite, that's kind of like a get out of jail free card where he can't do that because it's one more layer of protection. Sure, you don't have Flash. You didn't have Flashlight last game, but you have some punch this game. And Mega Foxy not taking the Leprechaun Malphite. That's an L.
Ooh. Yeah. Otherwise, looking at like runes though, you have the Arcade Comet to help out Mega Foxy, and CLG is playing super aggressive going into this minion wave, but both mid laners having Corrupting Pot and the Biscuits.
Yeah, so a lot of trading going to be kind of removed in the mid lane. And hopefully Deadpool is able to keep this CS gap a little bit closer than last game. We saw Balloon to like 40 in laning phase last game, and Ornn doing Ornn things. And I don't think I don't get why they don't nerf that guy.
Yeah.
He's been so good for so long.
Yeah, at least they nerfed the buying items like not in base a little bit, which was really nice, but the ornaments at near the end of the game are still super strong because
his laning phase is just so oppressive.
Lucian's gonna be 2 items and then get an upgraded Infinity Edge. He's gonna hit like a truck.
Oh yeah, that is a scary, scary thought. I didn't even think of the Ornn items on the Lucian, and that's probably gonna be the first one to upgrade. Is Manamune still the build on Lucian mid, or is it more Essence Reaver?
It's definitely an option. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't found like reasons why you would go like one specifically versus another. Maybe if you like really need the like late game damage, that you would go Manamune to sack a little bit of your early game. But Essence Reaver is definitely still viable since the second part of your passive does 100% with the crit now. It doesn't do reduced damage.
Yeah, that was a big change for Lucian and kind of what brought him back to S tier in the solo lane and playable in bot lane. when they did hit that crit damage on the second auto, it really removed a lot of his burst. And he's kind of the bursty ADC. So
but kind of what we're talking about, like both mid laners already used all of their potions, even the biscuits, and Lucian's doing a really good job of weaving in the piercing light with the minions to hit.
But a big hook, and we see the Samir passive able to proc, and Big Lots maybe fishing for a little bit more than he can chew. But we see a good wind wall here.
Yeah, good wind wall. That's a lot of damage.
She might get the kill here. Yeah, first blood going to go to Samira again. And the key with her sword, she does execute, percent missing health damage. So it's the less health they have, more damage it does. So when she is able to dash onto Alistar, she's able to kind of put him down, chop up the cow. But Echo trying to get a counter kill here. He might not have just shy. He does get a Dark Harvest.
Yeah, it does get the Dark Harvest, but super good for Megan Foxy to realize that they don't have enough damage output to actually kill him. So there's no reason to burn the flash. But just another situation where the SRC bot lane is disrespecting the Samira. And because Gabe had flash, just never flashed.
And Jig and Jag going for the counter jungle here, and Alistar finds him. Jig and Jag just ignores him. Just, I want the Gromp. We had cow already. We're going for some frog.
What I love about that with the phase rush with Graves is especially Graves is auto attacking the Gromp, but because of how its auto attack works, it's clipping the Alistar a little bit, so it just procs the phase rush and he can run away right after he steals the Gromp. So a little niche interaction as PTC grabs a Cloud Dragon.
Yeah, we see Timeless Struggle actually trading Jig and Jag's top side for the Dragon and the Gromp. So one camp for Dragon. And one camp and a Dragon for 2 camps. Definitely in favor of Graves here, and he does have his bot side jungle to clear. I didn't see who got the crabs. I'm assuming they traded 1 for 1, as that's pretty standard.
Yeah,
but a much better start for Jig and Jag this game, where last game he had already gotten counter jungled at this point, and was down like 14 CS. So Megan Foxy absorbing the gank and allowing absorbing some of that pressure, so Echo isn't able to just get a huge XP lead on the Graves. And this is right where PTC wants to be.
Interesting out of Timeless Struggle, he already got a Dark Seal instead of going for components into the Runic Echoes.
He's looking for some kills.
Yeah. We saw Bearson do that a couple weeks ago on Malphite, where he went for a Dark Seal, and then he got a bunch of kills, had like 8 stacks on it, and he's like, I'm just going to upgrade this into a Magi's.
Why not? And this is the real... was he 6? Yeah? Oh, he probably doesn't have enough mana. I thought he was just going to Ornn Horn and kill the Malphite there. Malphite going for the Negatron right away, which I'm assuming is mostly for the Echo. And yeah, we see CLG just take a massive trade here. Megan Foxy just getting picked on. Jig and Jag actually comes in to punish CLG's aggressiveness, and he's going to get the kill. Mega Man Zero flashes for it. He's got the Dark Seal too, so that's 2 stacks on there. And getting a kill into Lucian when you have just tier is so good. Well, burning the flash sucks, but...
Yeah, well, not to mention that CLG took the Ignite and didn't kill anybody and dies, so you don't have TP to come back. It is a huge wave crashing into that tower. So,
but Echo says, I'll take this, don't worry. Let me hold that for you. And Ragnarok gets the big trade. He's going to get the Ornn Horn, but Malphite cancels it, but Ragnarok still... gets the kill.
Yeah, it doesn't matter if you canceled the ulti from Ornn, I guess,
because he just puts you down. Yeah, Ornn bounced. As I say every time we see it, that champion is so good.
That's ridiculous. But no, I definitely feel it on a Lucian level, where, especially when you take Ignite, like the big thing that you need from your team and especially your junglers, you just need vision.
Yep.
Where like you want to play super aggressive. That if you go in for aggressive trade and it doesn't work out, like you put him on 1 HP, like Lucian put the Orianna on, J&J was able to come in and clean it up.
Yeah, and if Timeless is able to play around CLG, he's been playing a lot topside. If he just plays around mid, even if he doesn't get the kills and is there to allow Lucian to push in, then Lucian can team up with you and you guys can go hunt this Graves and go for the map control. And that's the big thing with the mid jungle 2v2. And I thought I just saw a comment from Ornn. I almost pooped. But it was Malphite. I was like, wait, he took comment? But Mega Man gets that kill. Is going to really help in this lane. because he can get. Do you think he goes Tabby into Lucian?
Yeah,
I,
I definitely would, especially
would,
because Echo wants to auto attack a little bit as well.
And Tabby's just such a strong item. But we see
Yeah.
CLG just relentless on dashing it forward.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the vision. We see bot river is pinked. So PTC knows they have no vision on this side. And Jig and Jag could just repeat gank to mid and just relieve some of this pressure for Mega Man as he is just getting dashed in on. And he's still on the tier, so he doesn't have the damage to really fight back to this Lucian.
Yeah. Yeah, luckily he did get the 2 stacks on the Dark Seal to help with it a little bit. Lucian also will be going for the Essence Reaver build with a double longsword.
Yep.
But he almost has the call finish, so that'll be a nice cash in.
Yeah, and you can see Deadpool just holding this wave and saying, I want to fight you guys. Come closer so Nautilus can hook you. And the passive of Samira lets her dash into auto attack range on a CC, and that just feels so good because you can just hold a freeze and your support can kind of fish for CC and you can be there where some 80 carries don't have that ability. And if you're like holding the freeze, but a big dive here from Timeless and a fight on the bot side. We got fights all over the place. Echo is going to ult out. Malphite comes down, uses the ult, misses, and
Echo had
Echo
to
flash.
use flash as well.
Yeah, I think he flashed the Malphite R.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
And we see a
Oh,
TP
no.
coming down.
The
Ornn
two
is there
TPs.
first. The wind wall doesn't block the Samir ult, and Ornn is able to actually CC it, but it's not before she gets her ultimate off. And Ornn tanks it like a champ. And
just so much chaos.
yeah, big exchange there. So we saw the fight in mid lane, and then the TP to the bot lane from both top laners. And SRC definitely gets the better end of that, but Malphite's going to slow Caitlyn down, and Jig and Jag wants to keep going, but their whole team's on Dragon, and PTC should know this, so they don't chase too far, which is a relief. But Echo's going to get the Dragon, so it's one apiece, and we're going to have Mountain Soul, which is these tanks are smiling.
Yeah.
Malphite is saying, give me some armor. I think he's going for, is that Abyssal Mask, which is very interesting on Malphite for the first item. MR is very good into Ornn. He does mixed and Echo, obviously, but in this mid game, you're really going to be looking to tank this Lucian. You're going to have to tank the culling, and if you have no armor, it is going to hurt.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But he does amplify magic damage. Ornn does the same thing, but just better because he gets to upgrade it. So, interesting take here, as you really just want to be the front line. He is going to amplify Mega Man's damage, but I don't think I've seen a Malphite not go Sunfire first in a while.
Well, especially like not even like I understand not going like Sunfire right away, but I'm surprised he didn't even pick up a Bombi Cinder to help shove the wave back into Ornn, who already built his Bombi Cinder.
Yeah, so he's gonna have no priority here, and Ornn can really help Echo and deny this Graves. We see Graves looking for the Rift, but because he has no prio on top, he's not able to actually do this. And Ornn just walks down and pushes Graves off.
Yeah.
And that's the key of the Bombi Cinder.
Yeah, and especially with the mid lane, like you're literally never going to have prio in that lane unless you kill Lucian, but Lucian piercing through those minions again.
Yeah,
getting
so
some nice
good.
trades onto Orianna.
Yep. Orianna able to fight back. Blue buff, a big thing to have on her because she's able to throw those spells out and clear the wave. Once she finishes Seraph, she'll be able to push a lot more efficiently back into the Lucian, but he'll probably have Essence Reaver then, so still an uphill battle for Mega Man.
Yeah, it definitely feels like a little bit better now because you only have the Lost Chapter and the 2 stacks of Dark Seal for damage onto Mega Man, while CLG has the BF Sword and Double Longsword, but it is for the scaling. When you finish the Seraphs, it gets you like, what, 130 AP right away?
And the shield.
Yeah. So it's a lot of utility because the whole trade-off is if you go Ludens, it's better early, but you could just wait a couple minutes, like 5 or so minutes, and just have more damage and the shield, which is really nice.
And mana.
Oh, yeah.
And the mana feels nice. You just throw out everything. You don't care.
Yeah, Orianna spams spells so much. Just trying to shield allies, speed them up.
And we see Big Lots looking for a roam on this Lucian. So we saw Graves attack the Lucian early after the big all-in. But after that, they kind of been leaving Mega Man on his own, and he's keeping up in CS, only 5 down. And this game, Samira goes for the Essence Reaver, has a 4 CS lead. At this point, last game, she had kills, but she was down like 40 CS.
Yeah.
I remember she was like 70 to 115. So this game, she actually has a lead. Not sure what changed, but that's going to be feeling very good for her. She doesn't have 5 kills yet, but
yeah,
definitely
that might
good.
just be like the support.
Yeah,
difference.
how the lane. And we see Echo here. Nautilus going to be cut out, but all the CC is actually used, and she didn't have a good opportunity
Yeah,
to go in
Timeless
with.
had a good angle to get into that gank. They got the lane gank in without having him get seen at all.
Yeah, when you can drop the Echo W with no vision, it's so much easier. If they know it's coming, it's almost impossible to land unless they have nowhere to run. But when it's a situation like that where you can combo the Alistar combo, stun into Echo stun, it's almost a guaranteed kill. And then you throw some traps in there, and this is why Samira's broken.
Yeah, just stop the Q and the trap empowered auto attack.
Yeah.
But
this is what we saw last game. Caitlyn just pushing, having a good old time, and Samira just taking the farm and saying, all right, we'll see you in mid-game.
Yeah. The thing that is sad to see, though, is that Jig is falling down behind in CS like pretty bad, where last game he was like a CC bot, which was fine. But when you're down, we have a play coming in. And Megan Foxy does have ultimate, so
yeah,
this is pretty bold.
He's got no armor, though, so that's probably what they're like thinking is if we bring Lucian up here, we can probably dive, but Mega Man just ults, and Jig is on that side to protect it. So TP down for Mega Man, but obviously CLG doesn't have it, so it's not that big of a cooldown to use at this point in the game. And no objectives coming up in anytime soon, except for that Rift Herald, but she's already in close coordination. But this top lane, we saw Megan Foxy play out of his mind last game. He was solo killing Ragnarok. He was really like taking over the game on the Shen. And this game, he is just getting bullied out. And this was the Malphite blue
the
second
priority.
pick.
Yeah.
And Ornn was R3. So Ornn was on the table, and he took Malphite instead.
Yeah, so we'll have to see when it comes to team fights if Megan Foxy can show us why he wanted the Malphite so bad.
Yeah, and obviously they probably picked Malphite away because Ornn ult can be stopped by Samira, so they're like, we can't stop a huge rock flying in. We can stop
exactly.
The Ram. But for this lane to go this poorly with like the priority pick, and you know, Ornn isn't like a hard counter to Malphite. It's not like they picked.
Both top players just do what they want to do, and they kind of just ignore each other. It's just a little fight up there.
Oh, we do see an all-in here from Big Lots. Samira getting the stacks.
Here,
everyone's rolling up. Ornn pops the ult, and Samira used the W right before, but she gets a kill. Her ult's going. She's got resets, and everyone's following up. That was like 3 flashes after them to try and follow up.
That was a lot of flashes, Burn. You got Timeless flashed and then Gabe flashed. And Timeless like hopped back, taking the Echo ulti back, and he was like, wait, I do not want this.
Yeah, I do not want this smoke. This Samira does a lot of damage. And then Megan Foxy flash, Deadpool flash, Big Lots flash, all in chase after that kill. Are we going to see a replay here? I'm ready.
Here you go. Yeah, we see the replay.
We see the replay. So Big Lots gets a good CC here, and we see Deadpool able to get those stacks freely. She's not threatened, and then she gets the S rank. She dashes in. She gets the reset on her E on a kill, and then we see Megan Foxy flash Q. He ulted in the original fight to get the slow to try and get more off that. Maybe a little ambitious, but you can see the real power of Samira. If she's unthreatened, she even used her W as Ornn was rolling in, and she didn't block it. But she was able to be unthreatened, get that S rank, and then you can just go crazy.
Yeah, and that's what's really nice about picking the Nautilus and the Malphite is not only do they do their jobs really well, but disrupting the enemy team while Samira is trying to get to that S rank is incredibly crucial for PTC. So that was some pretty high value. Like Nautilus was able to cause a lot of chaos with like the dredge line and the passive auto attacks. But we have another play where last second night getting him, so
he's got
so
no armor.
CLG. Yeah, he doesn't.
He's still got no armor, and this Lucian is still a bad man. He's running around in High Noon Lucian, pretty cool skin.
Yeah, Mega Man Hero's got to be sitting on a lot of gold though, because
He
he's
hasn't
been sitting on
recalled,
Lost
yeah.
Chapter 2 for a long time.
Yeah, and he wasn't able to join that fight in the bot lane because he didn't have the TP. We saw all the TPs coming down, and he used it earlier to save Megan Foxy on a similar dive. If he would have had TP, I think they 4-for-0 that fight
Yeah.
where Samira gets the ultimate off. So that's a big cooldown to keep track of. It's unmatchable, so that's why it's so important when it's up to be used. It can be used defensively to save Megan Foxy or aggressively to set up those plays and get the most out of them.
Yeah, at least CLG didn't have the teleport to cause like more map pressure. So it would have been a lot worse if Lucia would have been able to TP down and not Orianna. But otherwise, yeah, Orianna did finish the Archangels and has a large rad, so that'll either be going into Death Cap or Spellbinder.
Yeah, and the Darkseer we touched on earlier for Echo, 1 stack, not paying off as much as he would have liked, I'm assuming. And Big Lots is just chilling. He's looking for these hooks to start these fights because if you're the Samira at this point, you're feeling pretty good. Caitlyn sitting on IEBF sword, not going for Zeal once again. And we see Timeless come in for this W again. This is like the 3rd time in a row he's done this, and it's going to be another big fight. Samira is unthreatened again, but Big Lots is going to go down before she's able to get the S rank, and that's what these fights are going to be around. Is she able to get the S rank before her front line dies? If she can, she's going to be able to do a lot of damage and be a huge carry. But if she's unable to get the ultimate off safely, she's kind of going to be irrelevant because you can't just dive in with no front line.
Yeah, we're starting to see this gold lead really go like hard. It's at 5K in favor of SRC, which is super nice. They have CS leads all across the board. Oran's already up 60 CS. And then Lucian's up a little bit, Echo's up a little bit. So not only do they have all the structures down, but yeah, top tier 1, bottom tier 1.
But
mid is still holding up, but
Malphite still doesn't have this Bomby Cinder, so he is having a tough time clearing these waves to like get this push.
Yeah.
And Ornn is just having a good old time. He's pushing, and Jig and Jag gets caught by the W, but he lives with 1 health. I'm Gabe is going to be fishing for that flank. He's going to be chilling.
That
was
was
really
almost
bad
tragic. Jig and Jag got
caught out, and then you don't want to take a full burst from Echo Lucian. That is a painful.
I mean, it did cost CLG's flash, so like in theory, like Jig and Jag flash for the CLG flash in,
which is worth.
Yeah, Lucian
day.
Because he wants to play so aggressively and dash in for the double auto. Actually, really does like the flash.
Yeah, so he's probably got to play more respectful now.
Yeah.
He hasn't like with what we saw last game. He's been all gas, no brakes. He's going in. He probably is going to keep dashing forward, but much easier to punish without the flash. Especially into Nautilus Malphite. So without that flash, that Malphite R just gains value because flash is like.
Flash is pretty wide range, and like Relentless Pursuit from Lucian isn't actually that far. So most of the time, if the Malphite R is coming at you, like you pretty much just have to eat it because you're not going to be able to dash away from it. So then you just hope to get hit by it and then dash after. Yeah.
Which, if there's a Samira Orianna ball coming after, it feels bad. So, and we see Lucian just dashing in and eats the full culling into Big Lots, and he just kills him. So. That is no good.
Yeah, loses flash as well. Gabe flashes again, but this is just another nice win for SRC.
Yeah, and then trading support flashes and getting the kill and Dragon Prio. We see SRC kind of ran off this. Ornn does have teleport.
He is coming in for this now.
Yeah, he had some really nice flank wards I would have liked to see, and we see if Samira actually blocks it. She does, but she kind of runs in front of her team. And she dashes in. She gets the ult, but then she gets stunned.
Canceled,
but she's stacking her rank again. She's back to a B rank, and her ult has no cooldown. So she could look for a second ult.
And Nautilus is on the way. Good flash from Timeless Struggle.
Oh, but Deadpool Gambit dashes in and just gets erased by Ornn.
That champion, man.
Yeah. Don't get me started.
He has a huge front line, and then his passive procs are doing so much. So
yeah, he just clapped Samira when she dashed in.
Yeah, Big Lots was getting like kind of close, but SRC realized that they needed to engage and make sure that they can start the fight before Nautilus gets there. So
yeah,
super easy
and that
from
was a
them.
4v5. So
Yep.
Nautilus was caught out, and PTC plays it pretty well, and they looked like they had a chance to win that fight, and then they like disengaged, and then they just fought again and took the L. And
Yeah,
here's the Malphite ult. And once your cooldowns are burned by the Malphite and stuff, you don't really have like the same initiation. So at this point, we see kind of a disengage, and both teams are like, okay, do we want this dragon? And SRC's like, I'm pretty sure we win this. And we see Timeless Struggle have a huge flash stun on the Orianna, which leads into the double kill, and Ragnarok gets the knock-up from the E as Samir dashes into him and just kills
Orianna
herself.
didn't flash in that, and also I saw that her shockwave only clipped the Ornn, so that was not a good fight for Orianna at the Dragon.
Yeah, and Deadpool getting a little hyphy, dashing in while Ornn has his pillar there.
Yeah.
And he dashed right into the knock-up and instantly died after. So,
So yeah, this is
tough.
definitely a situation where, like, PTC is down really far away, but unlike last game, they have less tools to try to come back. Yeah, they have the Malphite, which is really nice with the Orianna combo. So if you're able to clip like 2 of them while you put the ball in the Malphite, then you can get some team fight wins. But SRC's comp does not like scale like poorly at all.
Yeah,
Lucian
like
still-
last game, we saw a little bit of a fall off.
Yeah,
Lucian
still
scales well.
Scales very well, and especially with the Ornn items.
Yeah, Ornn scales better than any champion because he gives free gold. Woo!
Yeah.
Oh, I hate Ornn. you haven't been able to tell. Yeah, I think they just need a big team fight win. PTC. We saw SRC kind of do the same thing. They just have to look to use their ultimates and not fight when they don't have Malphite ult. Because when Malphite doesn't have ult, he's not the same champion.
Oh no.
He
Yeah,
is,
you need to get a lot of value out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ornn already upgraded both Infinity Edges out of Lucian and Caitlyn, so they're going to be pumping out a lot of damage. And then you have...
And then Echo's probably going to look for a death cap to be upgraded, I'm assuming, by Ornn. And then Alistar hits.
Yeah, Echo got 6 stacks on the Dark Steel now, so that's putting him more work. Does have the stopwatch for even more safety and the protoball to get in, make sure that was parallel convergence to Zara.
And we saw him flash in for the W stun last fight, and that was such a key cooldown to use, and it ended up getting a double kill.
Yeah, super high value.
So now he has the proto belt to even do more plays like that while Flash is on cooldown. And we see Megan Foxy just struggling up here. Deadpool is here, but Ragnarok is very strong.
Not only is Ragnarok really strong, but like Deadpool Gamer like only having a tier 1 boots, he was walking pretty slow.
Oh, he actually gets the flash out of Ragnarok. Megan Foxy follows it up with his ult, but Ornn is taking a lot.
They're sending so many people for this though. Like you have 4 people on the top side of the map. They have to be getting stuff mid.
Yeah,
Mega Man
they
is
sent all 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Mega Man's down here, and he's just gonna die.
Good.
Oh, he trades though. That was huge.
And it's a shutdown. That is super worth for PTC.
And Megan Foxy actually TP's down here. He's gonna tank the Echo W stun, and like we said, he's not the same champion with no ult. But Big Lots is going in on Caitlyn. Samira is coming in, but she wasn't in range to use her passive. It's not unlimited, so that would be pretty cool.
So at the end of the day, they pretty much traded Ragnarok's death for the mid tier 2, which is still a very positive trade for SRC.
Yeah, and they're just blowing open the map. And now with that mid tier 2 gone, they have a lot more access into the enemy jungle, and they can continue to balloon this 6,000 gold lead.
Yeah, and especially now that SRC definitely likes this soul a lot more, it'll be really hard if they can get that, because Caitlyn already has overheal. So then if she gets BT overheal with a mountain soul, it is going to be so hard to deal with her while she's dealing a lot of damage. And same thing with the Lucian. He's going to be busting out so much damage.
And we see Samira going for the 3rd item, Last Whisper. So she went Essence Reaver IE this game, which is what you typically see. But last game we saw IE, Death's Dance, Last Whisper. So she's not going to have the lifesteal, which is pretty big. Because when you're ulting and if you just don't have any lifesteal, you can just die. And Megan Foxy goes in with the ultimate, just hits Timeless Struggle. And now he's kind of just chilling, and we see Alistar going with the big combo, and Samira gets the ultimate off, but
Oh, that's a pretty good shockwave out of Mega Man Zero, putting a lot of people low, but
yeah.
the fight started off so poorly for PTC. Like, that was like another situation where you didn't get that much value out of the Malphite ulti, and Deadpool Gambit just leaving himself very vulnerable.
Yeah, Malphite ults in, and then he just runs away, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I think we got a instant replay coming in. So, yeah, Megan Foxy is definitely looking for an ult here. He gets just onto Timeless, and then CLG just hits him with a culling. And then I'm trying to watch Samira. So she blocks part of the culling, but to do so, she takes a full Alistar combo, gets her ultimate off, but she's no health. And like we just touched on, she doesn't have the lifesteal to heal off of that ult. So she just dies after that.
Pretty sure that Caitlyn hit her with a headshot crit for like extra crit damage. It did like 800 damage. I was like, holy cow. So,
and that no zeal item
yeah,
really paying off there. Just straight AD. We don't need to attack fast. We just want to hit hard.
Yeah.
So she really overextended just to block some of the culling when, like we touched on earlier, Malphite only has a chain vest. He has no armor.
Yeah,
still.
he doesn't.
So this Lucian is just ripping through him.
Yeah.
Merc treads, Abyssal Mask. So he has a lot of MR. He's afraid of this Echo. Very afraid. Which he should be. I mean, he's 4-0, but you have a lot more things to tank than just the Echo.
Yeah. Yeah, and the thing that I love about the Lucian, just in general, is that because you go past the attack, what you saw in the last team fight was he was able to, like, auto, proc the press the attack, and then hitting the Malphite with the culling, where every single bullet does that % extra damage.
Yeah.
So it hits like a truck when Megan Foxy doesn't have armor, and he's going in like he's a sitting duck after that.
Yeah, so he really needs to get that big value, ulting multiple members followed up by the shockwave, so that he doesn't just die like he just did. He ults in and then he's just a ragdoll, a big mountain getting put down by Lucian.
Yeah, luckily the wave clear from PTC isn't terrible, so they can kind of fight back the waves, but Lucian is still applying a lot of pressure by himself, so that the rest of the team can do it or whatever they want.
Yeah, and no one can really like match Lucian or Ornn at this point. We saw 5 people have to go after the Ornn, and we're barely able to kill him. It took like 30 seconds, and CLG still just dashing in, and he is going for the trade, and he actually gets the kill on Mega Man. We saw Mega Man land the shockwave, and last time that happened, he actually picked up the kill on CLG, but this time CLG just finishes that PD, and we see the big difference there with that item. It wasn't even close, and now he's...
Yeah, Mega Man Zero didn't even pop the Spellbinder, which that increased movement speed and the...
flash in from Deadpool, and she's going to get the shutdown here and trade for an inhib. I mean, they get something at least.
But this inhib is still a good inhib. It's not like a bad cryptic inhib. This is definitely a high value inhib where when the Baron comes back up, they're still gonna have a lot of pressure down bottom. Bottom inhib being easily the best inhib to have down when the Baron comes up.
Yeah, top would be good too because they are on soul point, but like you said, and they don't have a Shen this game to answer like with the double global TP ult like they did last game, and we see SRC just kind of macroing just better,
Oh, yeah.
And Ragnarok is that huge front line. So he's on 3 tank items. Malphite just finishes his second. And they don't really have, like, the tank busting that SRC does. Lucian, like you said, press the attack. Once you proc that, then you throw the culling out there, and once you get through this Malphite, it is pretty free for the team comp of SRC. You got Echo dashing into the backline and just trying to pop someone, and no real answers for the team comp of SRC once Malphite uses that ultimate.
Yeah, I actually really like how CLG is not only is he super strong, so he like bought himself another BF sword, but realizing that he's so strong that he also bought himself a stopwatch. So if he gets targeted by Malphite for with that ultimate, that he can stopwatch that and completely negate that.
Yeah, if they try to do the Malphite Orianna ult combo and they just burn both of those to try to kill him, they automatically win the fight and probably the game.
Yeah, probably.
If stopwatch is and. That's another tangent, Michael.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on stopwatch. 650 gold to win the game. That sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
So and he's not even like popping off on the kill score. If you look at him 3-3-2, it's respectable score, but he's playing like he's got 20 kills. He's just running at people and using his ultimate. And he's playing with no fear, and that's really awesome to see.
Yeah, that's the
confidence
thing about the Lucian.
Yeah,
it has so much power. Like he's CSing very well. He almost has 300 at 33 minutes. He probably has so much plate gold, and he probably has so many like local goals from towers done. So yeah, he is sitting pretty, especially with the Orin items. Yeah. So upgraded death cap out of Echo now.
Oh,
so.
He is gonna hurt, and yeah, we just see Big Lots get absolutely erased. That upgraded death cap with 24 stack Medjais. He probably just one-shots anyone. But we actually see Lucian dashing aggressively. Samira gets a huge combo and ultimate off, but not able to get through anyone. So Echo just ults out, and Lucian dashes away, and the PD paying dividends. And on the other end here, Kabos and Ragnarok are just winning the game. Mega Man is 1v2 and a bunch of minions. They get all the inhibs down, so they got double supers rolling in. But I don't even think Mega Man's gonna be able to stop this. And Ragnarok drops a little dance. You can just see how much damage Mega Man is doing to him, and he actually dives the fountain, tests that out to see if that's does any more damage. And yeah, they played very well. We saw some very, very clean macro out of SRC in that game, and some lane kingdoms. I mean, mid. He didn't die. Mega Man didn't die at all. I mean, he played it as best he could.
They even got the kill early.
They did.
Where, like, Mega Man was almost close to death, and then J&J came in for the kill. But, yeah, CLG played that game, like, very well, like, being incredibly aggressive. Besides that one hiccup at the start, just constantly applying pressure. And then you instantly saw that getting translated into vision for the rest of the team. You see him killing wards, throwing down pinks and stuff, so...
Yeah, surprisingly with the damage chart, Malphite is actually did a lot of damage, more than Ornn. Usually Ornn is like towards the top, but he did a lot of damage. But some of those ults just were not what they were looking for. And SRC played very well. They were never like clumped together. They were pretty much spread out, and their team comp allowed them to, with Caitlyn, with Lucian, ult, and then Echo being on looking for flanks. Like they were never like in a ball where Malphite can really get those. Malphite and Orianna can get those real value ultimates where you're hitting five people and 9k damage on Kate. Big diff. Yeah. Samira's pretty good. Caitlyn did what she needed to.
Yeah,
she
just
was
shove waves. Yeah,
she was getting objectives. And when everyone else is winning, sometimes you just sit back and throw some headshots out there.
Yeah, so I think with minus IPT, PTC is the first team to finish their record.
Okay.
So now they're sitting at 1-2. FLM is also 0-2. So neither team is like guaranteed a spot yet. Where if FLM wins their next game against EXE, then that would force a tiebreaker. But this would move SRC to 2-0, and then
pretty good position to take first in their group.
Yep.
So that's pretty important because you always want to win your group.
Yeah.
So the next game on Sunday is.
Oh god, I think this is Roman. No, this is another.
I thought it was your game. That's next
I was
Thursday.
Gonna say, FN plays Thursday, but I think it's another Group B game this weekend. I think it's EXE versus FLM.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that'll be Sunday, and then so that would finish out some more groups or more teams in this group, and then we'll kind of have a good picture on standings for that. And then next Thursday, FN
versus Tempo Rush.
How are you feeling about that matchup? Tempo Rush look pretty good.
Yeah, they look really good. They have a lineup of strong members. Kind of interesting that like people say that their team works like a little like unorthodox, but it still works very well for them. Lots of Shopkeeper plays around their team very well. So
he plays like everything.
Yeah, he plays the Soraka, he plays the Ornn, and he plays the standard mages as well. So I don't know. We'll have to come up with a very good plan if we want to take them down. They're looking very good.
Yeah, but other than that, I think it's getting about that bedtime. So we will see you guys Sunday. I don't think the time is determined yet. Not yet. So we will let you know.
No, but we will have more FN members on the desk though for Sunday. FN Alex 55137 and Super Thick. So
FN representing. They won season 1, so we got to give them some time on the desk. So, thank you guys for tuning in. And if there's nothing else you got, Michael,
No.
I think we're going to see you guys Sunday. So,
yeah, take care.
Deuces.
I can do that. It's my birthday.
Left to walk these halls, a wasteland in my mind. I've become so cold, a phantom running blind. So hopeless, I know this could be the end. I'll fight till you break down and let me in. I'll fight till you break down and let me in. Break down and let me in. Break down and let me in. sleep, staring at the wall again. Always know that I'm in deep when I start ignoring all my friends. I don't even know the problems, so how am I supposed to solve them? Still I'm drinking like it stops them. I feel too much and nothing at all. Lately I've been a little crazy. I wish someone could save me now. I can't take these emotions, damn these emotions lately. Now I don't even know myself. Keep wishing I was someone else, 'cause I can't take these emotions, damn these emotions. Damn these emotions.